What's going on, Internet? The Black Okage here, aka TBH. And to be honest, I'd like to welcome you all back to the Gaming Illuminati podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you're now tuned into episode 173. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know the show is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. We need that 5-star rating so we can bring in new potential listeners, because we here do a weekly podcast and we would love to have some new viewers, not just the old. We appreciate y'all too, but we're trying to grow. Now, follow the podcast on social media as well. We drop daily content on our social pages. We're available on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and I recently reacted to Facebook. For most of the platforms, it's at GI Updates. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/GI Podcast. Somebody took GI Updates. You need to free that name. I've been thinking about changing it to GI Updates with a Z, but I was like, I don't know. I might just leave it as GI Podcast. Who knows? If you want to join the Discord, discord.gg/GI Updates. Links to all our social media platforms will be in the description box below at youtube.com/GI Updates. Now, allow me to introduce you to my co-host, the first of which doesn't get much sleep, but his in-depth game development takes make you not sleep on the podcast. Game and Ethos, say what up to the people.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm like JG right now. I'm about to find out if JG's team's about to get slandered in a couple minutes. How's everybody doing?
I heard something about Bear Magic.
It's scary.
And my second co-host got blocked last week by the Code Violet developers and blocked this week by Twitter Video for spreading gore. Seems like you have a knack for this stuff. Miss 5,000 watts. Say what up to the people.
Hi. Twitter also restricted my Clips account. Wouldn't let me back in for a day. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just out here trying to live.
It's okay. You won't say it. I will. Fuck Elon. And last, but certainly not least, is the man who got caught red-handed this week arguing with fake AI videos. UTX debate with Russian and Indian bots plus false for AI videos. The Don, say what up to the people.
Wait a minute. First of all, I was asking the question to the person who retweeted it. I was asking the question, right?
Oh.
All right, man, you got me. Whatever. I'll take the L.
That man got hit. Community noted. You are not being no allegations.
Hey, and I said that before the community note. Too.
It doesn't matter. You still fell for the AI video, bro. It doesn't matter. Oh shit. Oh, well, thank God for the community note, so our residential old head JG does not get fooled on Facebook. That being said, because the show is weekly and ain't no new games came out, we getting straight into the news until Highguard comes out, and we're leading the conversation talking about Capcom's recent showcase of Resident Evil 9, which I believe is one of the first major games coming out in 2026 alongside Nioh 3. This one stars 2 different characters, one returning, Leon, and then I forgot what's the name of the new character? Grace. And what they're doing is, I believe half the time you're going to play as both characters. Grace is more slower, methodical style of gameplay with the puzzles and the tension, more the traditional Resident Evil. And then, of course, with Leon in his sections, it has more the action-oriented style of gameplay from Resident Evil 4 and 5. Personally, I like what I'm seeing so far, but I know you're a huge Resident Evil fan. That's why you got blocked on Twitter. So Watts, you got the floor. How are we feeling about this 13-minute demo that we got for Resident Evil 9?
Yeah, this was cool, man. Like, I've been excited about Resident Evil Requiem since we saw Grace, because I liked the idea of this is a character who is related to an older character in the series, and it's kind of continuing that storyline through her. It's also returning to Raccoon City, which I'm a huge fan of, like Resident Evil 1 through 3. I liked 4, but then after that, I'm like more of a casual fan. So this feels kind of like it's coming back to where I really fell in love with the franchise. But what I really liked about Grace initially was that she's not a badass, right? Like she's just like working at the bureau and she's sent to the scene and now crazy stuff is happening. So her reacting, being like, what the fuck is going on? I really liked that. So seeing this showcase, and we got to see more of Leon, that was really cool. Like, combat has been kind of cool with Leon in Resident Evil 4, but this looks like it just takes it up a notch. Like you can shoot the zombies in the knees, and then you can push them into the wall with your foot, and then squish their heads. This is why I got banned on Twitter. And you can switch to another zombie, and you can incapacitate them and pick up another melee weapon. And there just seems to be like really visceral combat, and that looks really fun. You also have this thing that I thought was really cool, where they said that the zombies are going to maintain some of their personality and what they did when they were not zombies. So the example that they have is just like a lady who cleans stuff in the hotel, and she's like still cleaning the mirror. And I think that does a really good job of kind of humanizing them. They're not just monsters. It's like, oh, these were people who did have jobs, who were just doing regular stuff before this happened. So I kind of really like that. And they also look a bit different. Like when we get the close-ups of them, it kind of looks like they all look a little pained, and they have tears on their face. So it's almost kind of looking like they maybe kind of know what they're doing, but they can't stop themselves from doing it. So I think that's an interesting angle for Resident Evil. But yeah, the combat looks really good. I was also really happy to see that there's like a classic mode where you could play with the ink ribbons to save your game like you would back in the day. So I think I'm doing like third person ink ribbons to try and recreate the OG style. But besides that, there were a lot of ads in the showcase. I didn't mind it because I feel like the gameplay section that they showed was like, it was pretty exciting, and I found a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed. But yeah, it was like, oh, there's Porsche, and there's watches, and there's amiibos, and there's a controller, and there's a statue. So yeah, but some of the merch looks cool. Some of it is like, those watches are hella expensive. I think it's like $1,400 and $2,300 or something like that. But I thought the controller looked cool. I might pick up the controller. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed this showcase. I was kind of on the fence about it when they first revealed it. I did like the atmosphere of it. I was like, ooh, I like the tone and the way they're going. But I was like, I got to see some gameplay first. And they announced Leon's coming back, and Resident Evil 4 is my favorite. I wasn't a big fan of the ending, but overall, I really did enjoy Resident Evil 4. And I like what they're doing when you switch between the two perspectives and giving. I think the best way I can describe this is it feels like Resident Evil 9 is going to have a little bit of something for every Resident Evil fan when you switch between the two different characters and the playstyles. And I could tell that the developers felt really confident, because the main developer they had on screen, the dude with the hoodie, he had like this crazy smirk and this vibe to him. I'm like, oh yeah, they feeling good about this. I think one thing I really liked about the showcase is right off rip, when they were showing the blood and the gore and like the combat, it just warmed my heart to see that this looked like a game that couldn't run on the PS4. I know that sounds crazy, but it just makes me happy, you know?
Like they finally moved on.
Yes, this is a visceral game that's not coming to the PS4. And to make matters even worse, when they were doing the ads in the showcase, like they said, they were showing like a $15,000 watch. I said, oh yes. Now I would be upset if I was a PS4 owner watching this. Not only is it a game you can't run, but a watch and a car you can't afford. They were showing off like a BMW or a Porsche or some shit like that. I said, this is a great showcase. This is a great showcase. Now, jokes aside, the visceralness of the combat is what I really liked. The blood, the gore, the crunchiness of it all. I do got to give a little bit of pushback though on the section you were mentioning when they showed off that the zombies will be showing displays of like their past life. So like and I know you were in the chat because like you were laughing when I said it, but when I was watching it on stream, I think the first example they gave of the woman who worked as a maid and was washing the windows as a zombie, and she was still doing that, I was like, I thought that was a great example. But then the very next angle, they cut to like a guy, I guess he was supposed to be like the door guy for the elevator boy. They cut to him and he's just flickering the light off and on. And I'm like, all right, bro, what does that have to do with like being
he
like
thought it was the elevator switch, TBH, right? He's a little confused.
It felt like a bullshit reason to just scare somebody. He's just flicking the light off, and I'm like, what elevator dude does that in real life, bro? You know what I do want to do with that?
I want to go and press the button while he's doing it and see what happens.
So I got to get pushed back on that. I feel like it's cool in concept, but based off what I saw, it felt a little Ubisoft, because you know Ubisoft does the same exact shit. We've developed so many NPCs who have their own life. They go to work. Like, bro, realistically, when you're running around around, you're not paying much attention to that shit. So I don't know how much that matters to me. As long as the combat and the story is fire and like there's like some legit spooky moments, I'm cool. After this showcase, I have been sold. I definitely will be playing the Resident Evil 9 Requiem. It looks fire, and I'll go as far as to say it looks like it could be an early Game of the Year contender. How you feeling about it, Jay?
Real good.
Yeah, for a person that does not like Resident Evil, I've never been a fan of the series, and I cannot actually think of a time that I actually played a Resident Evil. Looking at Leon's combat specifically kind of has me wanting to try out the game. That man was doing some wild stuff, and like you say, Watts, they look like they completely expanded to like the 10th degree from Resident Evil 4. Yeah. Like, I was seeing him literally like do some revolver ocelot type stuff. And I'm like, is this the same Resident Evil or am I playing like a pure action game? It looks super cool. And I think that alone, like Leon's gameplay, has me interested. By the way, the Rams won, we survived. So now I can fully rest. My heart was beating. My heart was beating down my chest.
Oh my God.
You can relax. You can do a podcast.
Now I can relax. Now we can actually pod. All right. Now you get 100% of me.
Now
we'll get 50%.
His eyes were, I can't even see.
Now you see, I can't watch him going on.
If y'all could have saw JG when I first came in here before we started recording, this man was sitting in the chair like this, bro. I was like, "Oh, are y'all losing?"
I was stressed out, man.
I saw the play. I saw on Twitter where he shot it, where it looked like you guys were gonna sack him, and he just throws it. Says, "Somebody's down."
Yeah, crazy stuff, man. Okay, yeah, shout out to the Bears. But anyways, yeah, and especially this game coming out next month. I think I think this might be the first Resident Evil game that I'll like truly get into. I don't understand the collaboration. The collaboration is like, man, hit or miss. Like, I'm sure that they're getting some money somehow, somewhere to showcase the Porsche and the expensive watches. Like, who cares about this stuff? It's a video game. So like, if you truly care about this stuff, then I don't know. Like, you're not really trying to play the game, but they're cool, whatever. I don't really care about this stuff. But I do find the zombies interesting though. I do find them interesting. Like, it kind of reminds me of like, even though it's on more of a silly level, but they were kind of doing this stuff in Dead Rising too. Like, you'll see some zombies like just doing some weird obscure things, but in here they actually have an explanation as to why they're doing those things, because they're retaining their memories from, you know, how they were, what their regular lives were before they got infected. So I think that's an interesting explanation and lore. Like, there can actually be like some zombies doing some interesting lore in you know, throughout the entire video game. So I thought that this showcase was A1. I know that the Resident Evil fans are excited about this one, as they always are, but I think that they actually have a reason to be excited, like, given that a person that doesn't play Resident Evil games actually is interested in it, like looking at the gameplay. Because I would just simply not, first of all, I don't like horror games, and second of all, I just never liked the old Resident Evil style of game. I never liked the top down. Like, I just never liked any real aspect of Resident Evil until like obviously 4, and then they started expanding. But by then I was like, I don't want to play it, but I kind of do want to play this one. It impressed me, so bravo, Capcom.
Okay. Mr. Game Developer, you got any takes on Resident Evil 9?
No, I'm not that really crazy into Resident Evil. I did play a couple of them, and I enjoyed them. But it looked good. I'll probably play it, or I'm gonna watch somebody. I'm gonna watch Watts play it. I'll like get 50% of the play experience of playing it. So.
Are you gonna watch her play it and then tell her how to play it because you watched Rad Brad do it?
No, I'm just gonna watch Watts play it and then say I played the game through Watts, like I did with
Oh shit! And this is why it can't be Game of the Year, because I watch Watch do it. Like, all right, buddy.
Although, you know, there was another thing in the showcase that I thought was cool in Grace's section, is you can take like blood samples from dead zombies and then you can create concoctions in a syringe. So it shows you like injecting this zombie with this thing, the syringe, and they just blow up. So you're doing like a little bit of like science experimentation, blood stuff to weaponize
I was gonna
it.
ask, did they say so I know it was like basically said like it's like 2 games in one, right? Like they said that like Grace's is more like the old school, not even old school, but it's more of the horror,
like survival
like
horror,
Resident Evil 7,
stuff,
yeah. And then
Like,
Leon, because
I don't know
obviously
what I'm doing.
he's seen it all. He's not really scared. It's more like RE4. So like, is it like 2 separate campaigns that you just, I want to run only Leon and just play Leon the whole way through, or is it like it plays a little bit of Grace, then you swap to Leon, then it's like back and forth? You know,
I think you're playing both.
Yeah, I think it swaps.
I think it swaps. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the impression I got. Yeah, I know they have had like, you know, Chris's way and Claire's way, and Jill's way and Chris's way with different pathways. But from everything that I've heard, it certainly sounds like it's going to be switching between them.
And truthfully, I'm okay with that because I think if they would have went one way or the other, it would have pissed off one side of the fan base versus the other. But I feel like if they combine both styles and they stick the landing on the pacing, finding that right balance between switching between the two characters, I think they're creating something unique that I think everybody can enjoy. I think it's just sticking that landing on the pacing. That's going to be my biggest question because I don't want to be with one character too long versus the other, you know?
Yeah.
You don't end with a Spider-Man 2 issue problem.
Yeah. What happened to Peter?
No, according to some people, what happened to Miles?
You're not wrong. They got rid of Peter just to give Miles a shitty ass outfit at the end. So nobody was happy.
nobody was happy.
Oh, speaking of outfits, you could be Lady Dimitrescu as Grace with some of these DLC outfits. But I'm like, if I'm running around wearing that with my green ass skin, it might kind of take me out of the story. I don't know.
Does it make her tall?
I don't think so. I think she's a regular height, but she's like green and got a hat. And
oh, see, I have to Google this.
We're going viral with more booba clips.
Ooh, we might.
What's the name? Another big story that happened over the past week is one Reddit user claims they figured out what caused Monster Hunter Wild's performance issues, and it's kind of wild, pun intended in this tweet. For those unaware who didn't play the game, the PC version specifically last year, it was hammered with all types of frame drops and screen tears. And according to this Reddit user, owning more DLC equals better FPS. This is due to an aggressive check the game does to see what DLC you owned. It is not intentional by Capcom, but this constant check causes performance dips. The user created a mod that tricks the game into thinking you own all the DLC, and they noticed immediate improvements. I believe this is also corroborated. The story was corroborated by Digital Foundry. They did the test. And then all information has been sent to Capcom for support, and the same users already helped with Dragon's Dogma 2. So if it turns out Capcom does their own testing and they find out that this is true, y'all need to get that man a check for fixing your damn game. But you had a lot to say about this, Watts. You said you had some more in-depth thoughts about what was going on in the Monster Hunter community. What's going on?
Yeah, so Digital Foundry looked into it. So I'll kind of go over what they found. So what they're finding is that what the game is doing is it's doing a DRM check where it's basically you go to this feline in the game. That's where you interact with your DLC. You can see what's available. You can download it. You can see what's available for you to buy. And when you're there, it's checking to see what DLC you have. So that is when the performance dips are happening. Digital Foundry's check was they actually did surprisingly go outside of the camp to see if it affects overall performance or if it's just affecting performance in the camp when you're near this feline. And they found that, yes, it does affect performance when you're at the camp near this NPC, but it doesn't affect anything outside of camp. So it still needs to be fixed, absolutely, because this has been a problem in previous Capcom games. It's a problem in Resident Evil 8. I think it's a problem in any game where there's a NPC or some kind of thing that you're around that deals with you obtaining DLC or getting more DLC. So definitely something that needs to be fixed. But unfortunately, or it's not the, hey, this fix will fix all of the performance in Monster Hunter entirely. It just affects the issue that you're having in camp. So when you're hunting, when you're exploring the open world, all of that stuff, it's not going to have any effect in those situations. So the way that I've kind of been approaching it is like, absolutely it needs to be fixed and absolutely it shouldn't be a thing. But a lot of the articles and videos have been very clickbaity and been like, getting more DLC fixes performance, period. And that's just not really the entire truth. So it's a story that needs to be told, and it's a story that Capcom needs to be really serious about in fixing for not just Monster Hunter, but for all of their games. But yeah, it's not the case of you're going to go, hunt Uthduna in the plenty in the forest, and your frames are going to be 80 more FPS because you buy DLC. It's just not the case. It's just the way that they're doing DRM checks when you're specifically at camp. So.
Well, the funny thing is, and I'm not saying it's not possible, but I have a sneaky suspicion whoever is out there in the YouTube space spreading misinformation and being clickbaity, is because they didn't even read the article or look into the digital foundry thing. They just probably like read the headline and then went from there. Because a lot of times, you know, people will see the story that breaks, but they don't see the follow up, unfortunately, and that's how misinformation spreads. So then I wanted to ask you, why does it seem like this person cares more about optimizing than Capcom? Like, what's going on that front? Like, why haven't they answered this situation?
I don't know. I know that he did update the Reddit post to say that Capcom has responded to him. And they do have a Steam specific update that's happening to performance at the end of January. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to maybe be able to work with him or do their own testing based on information that he's given them. From what I've heard from developers, it's not a good thing for this to be missed, but I've heard that it is a pretty common thing for it to be missed because devs are playing with everything unlocked. So they never actually have the situation where things aren't unlocked. It still doesn't make it okay because, like we said, it's happened in previous games. So you'd think, oh, this has happened before, so we should probably find a way to test this. But I have talked to a couple of devs who have been like, yeah, it's a pretty easy bug to happen. Obviously, still doesn't make it okay.
All I got from this is DRM is the devil.
It is that. I mean, that's ultimately what it is, right? Like you have this system that's running in the background doing a bunch of stuff that it shouldn't be doing. So if we didn't have DRM, that wouldn't be a problem. And I think they actually removed it from Monster Hunter World after they had a bunch of problems. So maybe it'll happen again. And probably just need to find a different way to check if people have DLC.
Any insight on this, Ethos? You a game dev?
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't know how. I'll be honest with you. I saw it on Twitter and I said, there ain't no way. Ain't no way this actually. Like, I have to think that there's no way Capcom was this incompetent that no one tested this or realized this. Or I guess because, like, I guess they just thought, well, DLC is like an afterthought of like implementation because usually devs hate putting it into the game because they're just like, well, it's not really a fun feature thing. It's more of a corporate like business thing. So I'll just type it in. And usually they might have to be using some like third party system to track it. Or even if they're using Steam system, they still have to have a way that the different consoles have to be able to track that DLC. But I just think the implementation is really weird. Like, I just think that the way that it's been explained, that how it's possibly messing up is, like, I don't know. I just feel like anybody with common sense, I don't think you need like some game dev experience. I feel like anyone with common sense would think like, okay, I don't think we should be having so a tick is basically like, think of it like an engine, like every, like imagine like every single second, like every frame that your game is like moving on, it's like it moves on like a tick, like an internal, think of it like a heartbeat of the game. And to say that there's a system in the background that is like running constantly on each tick, it's just bad design. It's just bad programming practice. Like, I think anybody who goes to any sort of programming class is taught, like, avoid doing that as much as humanly possible.
It's gaming malware.
Well, it's not malware per se. It's just like you're requiring the whatever's running it. You're requiring that computer to run harder because it has to calculate.
Maybe malware is nothing because there's no malicious intent, but it does have bad results. Yeah, there's no malicious intent. I mean, I don't know what the word is for that then.
But it's like you add that on top of other systems that are probably also doing checks that are more gameplay focused. And then on top of that, you're thinking of just the graphical fidelity of the game. So all these things, ray tracing, you're making all these things run simultaneously. So sometimes it's hard to find where these gaps are hidden. There's tools optimization tools that are in engines that can help you try to fine tune it. But I've never seen, what is it? What's the
RE engine?
Yeah, I've never seen their engine. I've never seen their tool. I've never seen their editor. So I don't know. I'm assuming they do have it, but I don't know what it looks like. I've seen Unreal's. I've seen like a couple of other engines, like how you profile and you test. But yeah, like I feel like it would have just been smarter to just be like, okay, we're gonna not have an NPC in the world, do some check, but instead, and not have a check every single time, but instead have when you boot up the game for the first time and you press the start button, have it do one check. And then when you're in the DLC, you hit the DLC button, you buy a DLC, and then you return to the game, maybe have it do another check. I don't know why you do this every single time. The only
Whenever you're near the cat, it's like, do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? Yeah.
Yeah, like the only way I think this could be the case, and I saw the running time, like how many like times it was checked. Like I think it was like thousands. It was it was insane. Yeah, I was like, crazy, what the hell is this?
I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is that they're scared of, and I'm gonna say allegedly, because a friend told me about this. I don't know how true this is. Allegedly, you can mod the DLC into your game. So like it's in the game, and you can like flip switches within the engine through modding to like give you access to that. And that could be the only thing in my brain that would make me even remotely.
I think you're exactly right.
That why they would do this type of tick system was to catch someone who like is unlocking DLC. Because what you could do is if you did it my way, you could just get into the game, dodge the check, and then just go, okay, click a button for your mod, turn the mod on, and then have it like unlock all the DLC for you. That's literally the only reason I could think of it.
So I think that's actually why the guy who found this doesn't want to publish his mod, because the mod that people are using, which is like less DLC checks, isn't the one that he's using. And I think the reason that he doesn't want to publicize that is because it probably does unlock all of it. And then things like Nexus mods, right? You can't upload things that just unlock downloadable content that are paid. So it doesn't let you do that. Yeah. So I think that's probably what's going on. It makes a lot of sense. It's still not good. But that's
not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. That's the thing. It's like it's a reason, right? It's a reason why it's happening. But
it's one of those things where we can actually say where business has actually sabotaged a game. Like literally sabotaged the performance of the game. I'm not gonna lie, as a joke, I bought $2.38 of DLC, and I saw my frame rate go up 2 frames. So
hold on, bro. No way.
When you're buying the cat,
man.
I bought the switch axe sword because
that's
okay.
Fair.
So this is weird, right? I'm trying to remember because I don't think I bought Monster Hunter Wild, or I did. I can't remember. And maybe Watts, you could tell me. But the game, I have a lot of DLC on my account, but I didn't buy it. Like the Cyberpunk outfit, I didn't buy that. But it was just on my account one day, and I was like, "Where did I get this from?" And
there's like the deluxe edition came with like a cosmetic pass, so you get all of the cosmetics that release for a certain amount of time. And then there's also a lot of like free downloadable content that they have. So like for example, when an event happens, you get like a free secret thing when the event hits. So it's not just like paid DLC that it's checking for. It's also checking for free.
Yeah, because I have 59 DLC, and I'm telling you right now, I did not buy 59 DLC items on Monster Hunter Wild, but they were just on my account one day randomly. So this is just 59 pieces of DLC. I think in totality, Steam has, what's the number?
190.
190.
It sounds.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop.
Yeah, I know. This is Capcom, right? Like with the Dragon's Dogma 2 thing, we're like, why are you even selling this? Like, what do you even? It doesn't even make any sense. But I can only assume there's like some guy in the suite at Capcom. You're like, give him a $1 pendant and make 20 of them.
Yeah,
it sounds to me like on a micro level, what Capcom is doing on Steam with their games is what Xbox wanted to do on a macro level with that Xbox One. Because remember, they said they wanted to check your Xbox every 30 seconds to and imagine what minutes, they said every like 30 seconds, wasn't it? Or was it 30 minutes? It might have been
minutes.
30.
I don't think it was seconds, because that sounds just
that'd be insane.
That's extreme.
But that's bad. If you guys remember that when they announced the Xbox One, it was supposed to have that DR, and it would have been on every game, so it would have fucked up. I mean, the Xbox One was already ass, but like it would have fucked it up even more. You remember Scalebound's frame rate? That shit would have been running at even 5 frames, bro.
This is the way that y'all are like explaining this. It sounds multi-layered now at this point. It's not just as simple as, hey, like the DLC is dropping the frames. Like, just imagine if, I don't think that, because they said it already wasn't intentional, but just imagine if Capcom was like, yeah, we're really trying to make you all buy all the DLC that there is in order to fully unlock your game. Like that would be insane. And I know that they're not. And if they are, they're truly bad and they need to be checked for something. But like, yeah, I'm looking at the main, like the official Monster Hunter page. I had no clue that it was this much DLC in the game. Like this is this is like, ridiculous.
It's like wow. Some stuff is like $1, but then they also have like a ton of free stuff which is also, every piece of DLC they're checking for it, whether it's free or not. It's just
I don't
like
know why they don't just put it in the game. Just like if it's free, why even require me to like click a button to?
Should just be an update.
Just
just get it as a gift and then it's in there.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
Yeah.
I think this is even more messed up because, as you all said, this isn't the only Capcom game that this has happened with. And I remember multiple people talking about Monster Hunter, specifically on the PC, having frame rate issues. And now we find that it could have possibly been caused by the enormous amount of DLC that they have in the game and these constant checks. So Capcom definitely needs to take a cold, hard look at this and figure out a better solution, because of what you're saying, Ethos. If your theory is correct, I get it, but there still needs to be a better way to be able to implement the DLC checks within your, not just Monster Hunter, but your suite of video games that you prepare to have any type of DLC in, let alone 190 different pieces of DLC. Because that just sounds absolutely insane. And yeah, people just want to play the game and they don't want to have to deal with, I don't think the casual person would really notice this or care about this as far as like what is causing their frame rates. As you get to more technical level, you're wondering, hey, is it my specific build? Is it my GPU? Like, is something getting throttled? They're going to look at multiple different reasons. And I'm sure that people are probably scratching their heads looking at this. They're just trying to play their game. And then someone finally discovers this and they're like, hey, it's because of all the DLC in the game. And you're like, what the hell? Like, really? Like, this is not something that I can necessarily control. If I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan, then I might have all the DLC. But if I'm just on a more casual level, I'm not going to have all the DLC, and maybe I don't plan on buying all the DLC. So you're telling me that, again, I spent all this money on my PC and I can't play the game at the maximum amount of frames because of DLC check. Like, that just sounds just absolutely silly in my opinion. So I hope that they do figure this out. Again, I don't think that this is something intentional.
Yeah,
I mean, when did this start like becoming a real issue for y'all?
It's always been a problem. I feel like it's gotten better.
But like, did it reach a tipping point at some?
No, like when a game came out, at least for me, because I have a 3080, the game ran solid. It was okay, but there was definitely parts in certain boss fights that I was just like, bro, like I could tell, like if I didn't have DLSS, my DLSS was fighting for its life to like, and some things were getting pixelated for me, but it was still like I was still able to play through. Like I beat the whole game, so like it was like playable. But it definitely had like room where I feel like it could have definitely been more optimized, especially for a game where like you got to time attacks and stuff like that. I feel like, your frame rate has to be really solid for those type of games. But then they did a patch. When was it, Watts? The beginning of this year, or was it?
They've had so many patches.
The first one where they were like, this is the first optimization push. I think it was like December or January. It was like a couple weeks ago. I can't remember. It was like 3 or 4 weeks. It was titled.
That was their most recent one.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they've had a bunch before that.
When they did 4, I did notice a difference. Like my performance
this one was
did feel
huge.
better.
Yeah,
in my experience,
that one was a big difference.
I know some people argued and said it was placebo, but like I genuinely noticed, like when I looked at my frame rate, and even when I had like frame generation, like it was higher than it's ever been. So
it was also smoother for a lot of people. Like even if they didn't have like massive frame gains, they gained like it was just smoother across the board. Yeah. So I wish that this was the thing that would fix performance, period, because then they could just go, oh, we could just turn off DRM and then our performance is great. But unfortunately, this only affects you when you're in camp. It's like the least important part of the game. It's still not good, but it's the least important part of the game. It's not going to help people, get through the game and experience all of it. But yeah, that there is a PC specific targeted performance patch happening at the end of January. And with the update to the Reddit post saying that Capcom has reached out, I'm hoping that can now also include a fix for this, as well as the other things that they were doing. So they have an upcoming, this is specifically performance. They're not adding anything else in February. And then they also have in January, and then they have another one happening in February. So we'll see where we're at, but it seems like this coming patch and the one that just happened are going to be the biggest for performance stuff. So we'll see.
Capcom, get it together, because that performance on Dragon's Dogma 2 was not it either. I'm sensing a pattern here, which is unfortunate. But this is actually a perfect segue into our next conversation regarding the Steam machine. So news has came out, for those unaware, Valve is releasing sometime this year their own hybrid console PC thing that runs Steam OS. But if you want, you can boot Windows into it. You'll be able to play all your Steam's games from it, small, compact form. But a new piece of news came out regarding optimization for the hardware, stating that verification on the Steam machine will not necessarily be the same being Steam Deck verified. Now, if you're not following what I'm saying is, when it comes to the Steam Deck, they have a program on there called Steam Deck Verified, where if you get your game optimized to a certain point and running well on the Steam Deck, you'll get a check mark on your game and says Steam Deck Verified, and you'll get front page promotion. So it entices developers to optimize their games for this handheld, because they also get front page performance, and it also lets you, the consumer, know that, hey, if I buy this game and I want to run it on my Steam Deck, it is running well, it is optimized for this platform. Now, they're going to be doing something similar with the Steam machine, but news has came out that verification may not be on the same level as the Steam Deck. So being Steam machine verified is not necessarily the same as being Steam Deck verified. And it might not even have both for the game. So a hypothetical I'm thinking of is like, and by the way, the requirements are going to be less strict. They weren't being specific on what that meant, but they said there will be less constraints. In this article, the theory is that they want to launch the Steam machine with as many Steam machine verified games as possible. But the problem I found with this story is, just to give a hypothetical, because I don't know off the top of my head what Steam Deck verified means. But let's say Steam Deck verified means it has to run at 1080p, 30 FPS, and you will get verified on the Steam Deck, or like 60 FPS. With the Steam machine, it means a game could be Steam machine verified, and that thing only runs 720p, 30 FPS, and then the next one runs 1080p, 60 FPS, as long as the game can hit like, I don't know, 480p, 30 FPS, it's all getting verified. It's going to be all over. No two experiences are going to be the same. And that kind of worries me, because this is already running on Linux, Steam OS, so it's already going to struggle with certain multiplayer games. But now you're telling me this thing that it was designed for, to be a single player machine, can't even promise to run X, Y, and Z as single player games. I read this story, and then the story came out that it was supposed to be $1,000 too. I was like, oh, it's kind of defeating the purpose. But I'm curious to hear what's your take on this, JG.
So just to clarify here, Steam Deck verified games, it says, and I quote, it's supposed to be optimized for the display, which is 7 inches or 7.4. You have to be able to run at 1280 by 800 or 1280 by 720 resolution. It needs to have full controller support, Proton compatibility, and legible text. And verified titles must run on the handheld's custom CPU and RDNA in their GPU and the 16 gigs of RAM. And it's supposed to be performance at 30 FPS or above. So I think, this is more of an obvious point that the Steam machine is going to be more powerful than the Steam Deck. Therefore, there are going to be less constraints. So I understand what you're saying, TBH. There still may be a chance, because the Steam machine is going to be locked at a certain amount of specs as well. So it's still going to be looking for whatever these new specs are, whatever these verification constraints are, or optimization points are going to be for that. So we don't know what those are going to, well, we kind of do know, but we don't know exactly. Once they actually flesh everything out, then we'll fully know what the details are for the Steam machine. But I get it. Either way, they're both going to be locked. The Steam machine is locked and the Steam Deck is locked. So yeah, there may be a chance that not everything is going to be verified. But I do want to also bring another caveat that just because your game is not Steam Deck or Steam machine verified once it comes out does not mean that it's not playable. It's just more of a warning that when this game is out, hey, you may see some frame drops. You may not get the full,
or maybe they didn't submit it.
That too, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works as far as do they have to submit it? Do you know, Ethos? Yes. Okay, they do. Okay, all right.
You have to. In order for you to become. So if you submit your game to Steam, it says like untested. So when it's untested, that means that Valve hasn't done it. But if you want to give the verified, you have to actually give them a build of your game and they actually test it. But since there's thousands of games and people apply, there's usually a delay, unless like you're like a high-end like release. they'll like work with you on the release. So your game's just like the day it comes out, it says like, yeah, check, you're good. You want the green because the algorithm will push your game higher up in the searches, and people on Steam, like your game will get more visibility if it's like verified, especially for like people who have Steam Decks.
So I hope that people would do that, but again, there's chances that they won't. So
the
again,
community does too. I forgot to mention, sorry, real quick. The community helps too. So when a game is verified, so this is kind of a community moderation effect. So kind of like community notes. When if a game is verified or even has like partially verified, when you play the game on your Steam Deck, and Steam knows this, they're tracking it. If they see that you've been playing the game for X amount of times on Steam Deck, when you close out of the game, you might have noticed your Steam Deck, if you check the thing, will actually have right by the verified sign, it'll say, how was your experience playing this? Do you agree with this assessment that yes, it was fully playable, it was partial, or no, this is not optimized? So you can actually like send feedback to Valve off of your experience playing Steam Deck. So I'm assuming they're going to apply that system for the machines, so that you get more of that like kind of like community led moderation, kind of how like user reviews have kind of been, though that's kind of a, you know, up and down type of thing. But this one kind of helps with like, you know, finding what actually is genuinely working well and ones that might be false positives.
Yeah, so TLDR, if a game is not Steam Machine or Steam Deck verified, you're rolling the dice in a sense, but going back to Ethos' point, you will at least be able to, if you want to, provide the feedback and bring that community aspect on whether whatever game that is not verified is still playable or not, or what your experience is. So again, it doesn't necessarily say that, hey, this game is going to run like dog crap on your Steam Deck or Steam Machine, but again, being verified is the biggest way to not only get an algorithm, but to basically prove that this game is playable and is optimized for the Steam Deck or the Steam Machine. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it's not going to be as restrictive as the Steam Deck, because obviously you're talking about a handheld versus an actual PC. So, but both of them are going to be locked. So that's why they have this system in place.
Yeah, I think they get pushback on that. It's more so I could see a world where this backfires in their face, because the reality is like, I feel like if you have a Steam Deck, you're a fucking nerd. So like, you know what you're getting into, right? Like, you know, it's a 50-50 when you play these games on this Steam Deck, right? Like, soccer moms don't know what a Steam Deck is. They know what a Switch 2 is, but they don't know what a Steam Deck is. It is still a niche product, whether you want to agree with that or not. I think it is. When it comes to the Steam Machine, if it's their goal to create this console PC hybrid experience, I feel like one of the benefits of console is usually those not always, but usually they are optimized because it is a set number of specs. And I know for a fact, looking in the comment section of our podcast, looking in the comment section of various videos on YouTube and TikTok, a lot of people were excited because they said, I've always wanted to get into PC gaming, but that shit is too technical. So they're looking for that optimized console experience. I can see a world where people pay $1,000, they download a bunch of games, they say, what the fuck is this? This shit doesn't run well. Obviously, it's not going to be every game, but it's like, it doesn't run well. So I don't know if I agree with, maybe they could be a little bit more lenient, but I do think they need to push that Steam Machine verified and let people know, like, hey, this is optimized for this machine, because it is going to be a lot of non-tech savvy people getting into the space. And then next thing you know, that's when you get a mile-long page written on Facebook about why the Steam Machine is ass. Not saying that's going to happen. I'm just giving a hypothetical. What's your thoughts, Watts?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to have that Steam Machine verified. And I really like the way Steam Deck does it, because it will say, like, especially when it's partially supported, you'll say that it runs really well, but some text might be a little hard to see. So that way you can be informed to go, oh, okay, well, that's fine. I can, like, you know, I can squint and I can get closer to the screen if I need to. But as long as it runs well, that's great to know. So I think I really like how specific Steam gets with their verification, and I would like to see the same for the Steam Machine of, you know, what is the expected performance? How does it all work? Is everything good? Does it need work? It might even be a good thing if we could give people an option of only having Steam Machine verified games viewable, and you can like toggle it on and off, because then it's like you were saying, TBH, people who are not super savvy with this stuff, it's like you don't even have the option of downloading the games in that view for things that aren't verified. And that could be a way to kind of avoid a downfall of, I downloaded this game and it's like 2 FPS and it doesn't work and it keeps crashing. So that might be
that would
something
never
to
get
look
verified.
into.
I don't think that there's ever a world that gets verified. Again, like I'm just speaking just from my experience, but like at least from all the games I played on Steam Deck, I don't think I've ever played one verified game where I was just like completely grossed by what I was playing. It's like, how is this verified?
Oh no, I was saying more like
same.
the like
I don't think I've ever had that.
where you could specifically say that I can only view the things that are verified for the Steam machine in this menu. It's just like a tick thing. And then if you want to be a little more experimental, maybe you're someone who knows more about the stuff, you're down to experiment a little more, you can take that off and download whatever you want. But
so like filtering.
Yeah, filter.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But I mean, Steam already has this. Like, when you're on Steam and you go to the Steam Deck area or whatever it is, like they specifically, it's not only oriented in a way where you're going to see all the verified games first, but they do basically say like on the games themselves, it'll have the mark rate by like where the price tag is. It tells you like green or yellow and.
But we're saying for the soccer moms. Don't even give them the option.
I feel like you're kind of proving my point because. You see how me and Watts didn't know that there was that filter because we don't have Steam Decks and you fucking nerds do. Steam Decks are for nerds. It's for a very specific crowd of niche people. I don't think people who are buying the Steam machine are going to know that.
I'm saying it as me and JG both have Steam Decks, and I'm telling you, it is very. I think Watts, you have one.
I have a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I think Valve is going to need to do some educate. Like they need to drop a video to let people know that shit.
They've already done this, and when you boot up the game for the first time, or boot up the console for the first time, a lot of it guides you through this stuff automatically. But one of the things I think is very important is when they're saying leniency or being more lenient for that. I don't think I'm not yet to say that it's going to be worst case scenario. I think that it's just more of saying, like, for example, Steam machines are going to be different than Steam Decks when it comes to the UI. So the legible text, kind of what Watt said, right? That no longer, if your text is not legible, right, your game does not get a green check mark. Even if everything else is perfect.
It gets partial.
It gets partialed, which is like a yellow sign. It's a completely different sign.
It's like a warning sign.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of big and it does show you like,
kind of like,
this is hard to read. Yes, it's hard to read this game's UI text. Like Baldur's Gate, I think for the longest until they they changed around some of the UI. I think they made unique UI for the Steam Deck's resolution to get it to go to green, because originally like it used PCs and it was very hard to read some stuff. But what I'm saying is that in a world where Steam machines exist, that complaint really shouldn't be held against games who need a green check mark, because at that point you're playing this thing on a monitor, you're playing this thing on a TV, so that doesn't really that probably will be kind of that idea, right? It'll be wavered against you not getting the green check mark and say, okay, we're going to give you the green check mark. We normally would, and maybe we'll put a warning here about the text labeling for Steam Deck. I think that's what they're referring to. I would be shocked if this just means they're going to let games that are less optimized get the green check mark, because that is like you remember back in the day, the Nintendo seal of quality that they used to put on the boxes? That's them saying that we are putting our own reputation online and telling you that if you buy this, you should expect a standard from that you expect from us, that at least it's going to be a solid experience when you play it without you having any headaches, or you kind of what you're saying, the soccer mom, not having to go into settings and tweak a lot of stuff. Like you just boot it up and just start playing it out of the box. Yeah. That's what green should mean. If you can boot the game up out of the box and just start playing, good. If it's not like that and you gotta, this is where the nerd stuff where you're talking about, TBH. If I gotta hit start menu right trigger to make the mouse button appear on the Steam Deck so I can move because they haven't configured it correctly to work with the controller, then yeah, it should not be green at all. I think that's really what it comes down to.
I'm just putting hypotheticals in the space because I think we should never underestimate how little some people know about certain topics. Like I can see a world where somebody boots up one of these games on the Steam machine.
We know 6th grade level reading.
Yeah, maybe. It's not Steam Deck. It's not Steam machine verified. They go into the options. They say, "What the fuck is VSync? I got to give up my virginity? Like I got to sync it to the monitor? Like."
Well, here's the cool part. Here's the cool part, because I was doing it too in my own game, and I think a lot of devs are doing this because now they realize Steam Deck's very popular. I'm not out of niche yet, but there are a lot of people who are PC gamers who also have Steam Decks. They are now Baldur's Gate, a lot of big AAA. I think even Sony has a lot of their games doing it now. There's now just a graphic setting for just Steam Deck. So it will configure, the game will see you're playing Steam Deck and it will configure your settings. I think Digimon did this too. It'll go straight to Steam Deck settings for you. So it automatically selects the resolution, the graphics, and they do this kind of like console, right? So they can target a certain frame rate and know without the player having to configure. But if you're a nerd, you'll go in there, you'll tweak some stuff, you'll overclock your, whatever, your Steam Deck's, CPU, and they'll do the same thing with the Steam Deck. But I think that would be the same thing with Steam Machine, right? It's just like a console. I'll be like, okay, I know how much RAM is in this thing. I know how strong it is. I'm going to pick these settings because I've tested on the Steam Machine, and I know that it will run the best with these type of settings. And then boom, you don't got to even touch that area. Problem solved.
We
If the
gonna-
developer does it, now what you said, if the developer doesn't do that, I'd hope that that's a requirement of Verified, that they have to make that configuration. I think
You'd
that
hope
should be
so.
something you're required to do.
We gonna keep an eye on that story. We're gonna keep an eye. That's your Steam Machine update. This next story I got for you is pretty interesting. I remember when Geoff announced this game at the Game Awards and it got all the hate. I think I said it on the previous podcast. I blame Geoff for the reason it got so much hate. Because if Highguard was shown in the middle of the show with a bunch of other different games, I don't think it would have had such a viscerally negative response. But because he showed it off at the end and he said, oh man, this is going to be the next big thing. He set it up for people to have and then it had the Apex Legends Titanfall developers tied to it. He kind of set it up to have these crazy expectations. And then it fell flat and they just been getting dunked on the internet. And I got some pushback on that, I think, on Twitter, because people were saying, well, you paid. They paid to have, because for those unaware, you have to pay to get onto the Game Awards. They paid for that advertising, so they paid for that last spot to get that L. Well, a report is coming out from a reporter from Forbes stating they recently found out from a source that they did not actually pay for that final spot at the Game Awards. They didn't pay for any spot. Word on the street is Geoff just liked the game and he decided to show it off at the end and hype it up. So it kind of corroborates my story, but it's actually even worse. I feel like you got something you want to say about this one, Watts.
Yeah, so man, this whole thing has been a wild ride. So it's sounding like, yeah, like you said, not only did they not pay for the final spot, but they didn't pay for editing. Geoff just came by the studio, played the game, was like, this is cool. Can I get a trailer to put in my show? And they're like, okay. And he ended up putting it there. It's really interesting because now I'm seeing kind of almost the flip happen where people are like, oh, so this is Geoff's fault. And I'm wondering if that might actually end up working in Highguard's favor, because so many people know about it because it was that final spot and they didn't think it deserved it. And now they're like, oh my God, Geoff set up these devs. I'm actually going to try the game out. I've also heard some people say, maybe the game has something to it because Geoff really liked it. So we'll see how it ends up landing. My prediction is that the game is actually going to be pretty fun. And I think the game for sure is going to feel really good to shoot your guns. It's going to feel really good to move around the map. It looks like they're doing a mixture of it almost looks like Apex with objectives. Because you can see that it's still like an open map, right? It's not an arena like Overwatch or CSGO or Valorant or anything like that. But you have these zones where you're doing different objectives, and it looks like if you're a team who is winning more of those mini objectives on the map, you then have this big tank that pushes into the enemy's base, and then you kind of have this final standoff. So I think it's gonna hit the 26th. I think people are gonna go, this game is actually kind of fun. And I don't know if it's going to be like long lasting and it's going to be a massive hit, but I do think people will think it's pretty fun. And then maybe this narrative ends up working for them. But yeah, I think I don't know where I read this. I heard some rumor that they were actually planning on shadow dropping this like these devs did with Apex when they were at Respawn. But Geoff liked it so much and asked for a trailer that they made a trailer for the Game Awards. But their plan was actually to shadow drop it. And I think that would have gone well. Like, people, of course, could have seen it and gone, nah, I'm not really interested. But if you have it with, hey, this is our new game. It's out right now. Go try it yourself. I think people would have been like, oh, okay, I'll go try it myself, instead of this whole narrative around it's generic, it looks bad, blah, blah. And they paid all this money, millions of dollars to have this spot. It kind of set them up to be in this light of just everything that gamers hate, of these guys are just pushing their agenda and their generic game with their millions of dollars, and they're wasting their time. So it's a very interesting story. We'll see how it pans out. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you at bare minimum, because it's made by former Titanfall devs. I have no doubt in my mind the shooting will feel good. It's everything else that I'm like sus about, and like at bare minimum, what I think it has going for it is it's free to play. So like, I'll try it, and if I like it, I'll play it, and if I don't, I'll turn that shit off. It's really not that big of a deal.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question, Ethos. You're a game dev. How would you feel if Geoff leaked your shit allegedly?
I don't think Geoff leaked it. I think Geoff asked permission, and they were just like, "Okay."
They're like, "Okay."
Yeah,
we didn't know you were gonna do all that.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big. Honestly, I think this is going to be not referendum. I think this is going to be a calling for Geoff. I think if the game ends up being really good, then people are going to be like, "Yo, Geoff knows ball," and no one will ever doubt him again about when he's hyped about a game. Reversely, if it ends up being terrible and people don't like it, then people already clown Geoff, but they'll clown Geoff even harder about it.
Out of touch.
Yeah, he's
you remember when they used to call him the Doritos and Mountain Dew Pope?
Yeah.
The Highguard Doritos and Mountain Dew Pope. That's what they go call him.
This will be
pull that picture
stuck
up
to him for the rest of his life. Yeah, this will be an L for him for the rest of his life, and people will constantly bring it up as a joke against him. So yeah, I mean, I heard this is what I heard. I heard somewhere. I heard allegedly that originally the last place game was supposed to be something else. The last place reveal. It was supposed to be some big game. Now, some people, of course, are immediately thinking it's Half-Life 3. I don't think it's Half-Life 3. But supposedly it was some other big project, something massive that was going to be some big game. But it got delayed because they weren't ready. They needed more time. So because it got delayed, he basically had this slot. And I guess Geoff was trying to figure out what to fit it with, or maybe move something else that was like shown earlier in the game, and then show it like later on. I'm gonna be honest with you, like maybe he could have probably put that Star Wars game at the back there, because that announcement from Casey Hudson is kind of a crazy way to start. He could have thrown that at the back end maybe. So my guess is like maybe that was what happened, and then because he had to fill a slot for it, he played this game because he always gets invited by like a bunch of studios. He drops by their studio, they show him what they're working on before they even show it to the world, and Geoff's been doing this for decades. I think some of the younger gamers aren't aware, but Geoff's been around a very long time. He's been around since I was a kid, and I saw you could find him having interviews with like the OG Modern Warfare 2 devs.
He was
like,
an OG G4 host.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, very.
Yeah, he's
old.
been around forever.
He's not an industry plant. He's not like some like double agent or some fake gamer. Like he's been around a very long time. He's earned his flowers. He's contributed a lot to the industry. But I think, yeah, I agree with Watts. I think this is going to be really funny because I think it is going to give Highguard another chance to kind of set the narrative again, because I feel like there was a narrative already set for them and it put them in a very bad light. But then when you say they didn't pay millions of dollars, it was free. And we've known this too. There's definitely been games that like it's not like every single game Geoff shows is paying $1 million. Like there's tiers and variations of, how long is the trailer, or if, it's a smaller studio, he just puts them up there. I don't think he has like smaller studios or smaller games pay money, if not much at all, to get it up there if he thinks like it has a lot of potential or as he played himself. But yeah, I agree with Watts. I think if this thing comes out and it actually ends up being really fun, regardless of how it visually looks, if it ends up playing like Apex or playing really well, because Apex is dying, it's been dying, people are sick of it. I think Highguard has a pretty solid like window to sneak in before Marathon comes out and some other potential competition, and just grab FPS players who are basically playing either Battlefield or Arc Raiders right now. I think that's really like the only two things they're playing right now. But they might be able to capitalize on that. And if people come out and say, yo, gameplay wise, this is fire, like it feels really good and it's free to play, like you said, TVH, it could turn around. It could be a complete turnaround. But if it comes out and it just ends up being just, mid, just then it's going to be, oh man, drama 20. Oh, we're going to see like 25 videos from your favorite rage YouTubers.
I wonder who.
Just the people that were shitting on Concord. Oh man, this is Concord.
They're drooling. I can.
This is Concord 2.0. Yeah, for them.
I don't know if I told you this. At bare minimum, I can confirm. I know for a fact they did not pay millions of dollars, if anything, for this spot. It is a small indie studio making this game, and do you know how I know? It's because I think I told JG and Ethos behind the scenes. This happened a couple of years ago. You guys remember the story I put in the group chat about how I found out one of my neighbors worked for EA and they worked on Titanfall?
Yeah, I briefly remember that one.
So there's a story. It was a couple of years ago. I was walking my dog Aki, and I had my N7 shirt on, and I'm walking this way, and a couple of my neighbors who lived in the building, they were walking the opposite direction. So we're going to collide, right? It was a man and woman. It was a couple. The dude sees my N7 shirt and he stops me. He says, "Holy shit!" He said, "Are you a Mass Effect fan?" I literally got in his face. I said, "I fucking love this shit, bro." That's a true story, by the way. Like, yo, if you're a Mass Effect fan, when you see that N7, you know, bro, it's a cult, bro. It's a fucking. I said, "I fucking love this shit." He's like, "I would have never took you for like a gamer." I was like, "Bro, that is my favorite fucking game." I was like, EA has made some of my favorite fucking games, right? And then the woman says to me, "No way." She's like, "I work for EA." I was like, "Well, what do you work?" I was like, "What do you work on?" She's like, "I've worked on Titanfall 2 and some other stuff." And she's like, "I'm working on a game that hasn't been announced." I said, "Get the fuck out of here, bro." Long story short, I knew that she was working on a game, but I never asked her too much about it. But she told me the name of the studio, which was Wildlight. When they announced the shit, I was looking. I was like, "Holy shit, bro!" And they're getting a ton of hate. Granted, they've moved. They don't live in my building anymore. But I know somebody who worked on the game. I know for a fact because from talking to them, she told me they left EA to start their own small studio, and they have like a tight budget. I know they didn't have millions to spend on that shit.
Like Respawn. It's literally what Respawn did.
It's a new studio. It's a new studio. So that's my little connection to and I'm rooting for them, but we're gonna be 100% honest if the game is good or not.
If the game sucks, it sucks, bro.
But I can confirm it's not a studio with a bunch of money. Go ahead.
Before we move on, I mean, if the rumors are true about that shadow drop stuff, I truly think that Geoff might have done more bad than good by showing it. I get that he wanted to, if he really liked the game and he just wanted to show it. There were already some narratives against it. I mean, the EA, it was the last game that you showed at your show. And if this stuff is true, that I ain't paid for it either. Like, it just bringing up so many negatives that shouldn't be brought up. And I think that if you just would have shadow dropped it like you wanted to, if the rumors were true, then I think that it would have been more of that real time, just like we did with Apex. It would have been more of that real time. Hey man, either this game is good or it's not. But now there's an unneeded amount of pressure that has been placed upon them just because it was shown, and people are looking at this like, hey, this game looks a little dated. I don't know if I'm going to like this game or not. So I'm hoping that outside of the trailer that we saw, especially since this is literally coming up like next week, I'm hoping that they do come with it with the gameplay, because that's literally going to make or break what this game ends up becoming after it actually drops. Yes, it's free, but free, a wise man once said, free don't mean shit to me. So we are literally going to see whether this game is good or not. We're all going to play it, so everybody here is going to play it, and we're going to talk about it, and not next week's episode, but the following week. So we'll be able to see it, we'll be able to play it and speak about it. But yeah, I'm hoping that they really come with it, because like the narrative, they just grow stronger and stronger. We know how negativity spreads on the internet, then certain players just amp it up to insatiable level. So I'm rooting for the game too. Like I said, I don't think I've ever rooted for a game to just downright fail unless you deserve. And it's a very small amount of games to do it. Yeah, it's very weird. So I don't want it to fail. I want to actually enjoy it, be another game that could potentially take a little sliver of like my time is rotating between the ongoing game that I've been playing. But if it don't come with it, then it's just going to be another game that's unfortunately DOA, and I'm hoping that is not the case. But yeah, just seeing this news, I'm like, dang, like that's very interesting that Geoff just messed with it off the straight. That he was just like, I'm just gonna show it. Like he was thinking like they was Kojima or something. Like, I'm gonna just show this because you my buddy. Like that's some crazy news to hear about.
I'm curious if he really did fuck with the game like that, or if he felt the pressure like, oh, this is the Game Awards, I need a big announcement. Like that would be.
I wonder. Yeah.
Big. That'd be bad. And just in case
it backfired though, if that was the case.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he. Obviously nobody could predict that, but it will potentially backfire.
I think this is just like a case for the Game Awards needs to have some transparency on what's paid and what's not, even if it's just a little like ad thing at the bottom of the corner. Because it's gotten to the point that people think they know how Game Awards shows work. I'm pretty sure people have almost everything wrong about it. I've heard Deb say gamers couldn't be more wrong if they tried about the Game Awards. So it would be nice if Geoff, it has to say or show or something, format the show in some kind of way that says what is paid to be there and what is not. Because what's the difference between a trailer that's an ad and a trailer that's not an ad? I mean, if you're showing off your game, a trailer is a trailer. as viewers aren't going to know if that's paid or not. And if I have to mention every 30 minutes when I got a game for free, I think you should probably have to say somewhere what's paid and what's not.
And going back to you guys mentioning how weird things have gotten, just to give an example, this past week, a tweet went viral, has 3.5 million views at the time of this recording, from a user named Minesweeper, who tweeted, "After playing today, I can confidently say this shit is ass." And then it's a screenshot of his Steam library and a picture of Highguard. And this went viral. I think it got like 3 million views before it got community noted. It got community noted, and it was exposed as a fake edited screenshot. There was no alpha. There was no beta test that happened. This user literally just photoshopped himself playing the game and said it was ass. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like accounts like this should get banned for just spreading maliciously intent type of content. But then that, we know that's not gonna happen, because we also got people out here still believing that, I don't know, vaccines cause 5G towers to enter your brain and shit like that. So they're not going to do it on the gaming front, but you got to be careful who you listen to out here. The shit's getting weird. I don't know why some of y'all want games to fail. Like, just
It is so weird, because it's like, as a gamer, someone who plays games, why would you not want more games that are good for you to play? It's never a bad thing for a new game to be good. I don't get it.
Isn't the narrative so that there are no games to play? So don't you want to be able to play some games that are...
Well, what if they just want to be right about the fact that there's no good games?
Yeah,
so
man.
anytime a good game comes out, they're like, no!
Yeah, no, that's weird.
I'm wrong.
Get it.
Misery loves company. Misery loves company. But Highguard, it is being developed by some former EA developers that worked on Titanfall and Apex. And this is a perfect segue into the next conversation. A current EA developer who's been yapping a lot this past week. I don't know how I feel about that. Yosef Fares, who is the the CEO of Hazelight Studios. They're the people behind Split Fiction, It Takes Two, and A Way Out. He's been doing interviews, and he recently said he believes EA gets more shit than they deserve. The gist of this article and this statement he was given is basically saying that there's a lot of great people at EA. They know how to work, they respect, and they leave us be. Let's be honest, though, there's not a publisher in the world that hasn't fucked up now and then. Sometimes I feel like EA is getting more shit than they deserve. I mean, come on. Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, everybody's done something that's not good. But for some reason, EA has become the bad guy. I have a lot to say, but you're a game dev, Ethos. I want to hear your take.
Stop saying that. Stop saying that shit.
You're a game dev.
Maybe EA comes along, and maybe EA comes along and wants to publish your game. How you feeling about it?
Okay, I'm gonna agree with him. Because I feel like I go through this same frustration where a lot of people like dunking on EA. A lot of the time justified when they dunk on EA. But I don't see people giving that same energy to some other publishers the way that they do. Like, I give an example of how... Yeah, he shall not be named. The publisher we're talking about. We had Nintendo over here, doing some stuff with Mario Kart, and also with Metroid Prime, and... their DLC practices are not good. Even Pokemon's was kind of crazy, where you had to spend, we're talking close to over $100, we're talking $120 to get everything technically that you'd want to get for the game. Nintendo does stuff. I think, I agree. I feel like every single AAA publisher does some dumb stuff, and always does, because at the end of the day, they're business first. They're going to always be trying to get as much profit as possible. But I do feel like I think it's kind of moved a little bit, where I think, if I was going to be honest, I think Ubisoft is probably the number one. People dunking on the most. I think it's always been I'd say since Watch Dogs. I feel like EA has gotten it the hardest when they got nominated over. My God, this just shows how stupid people are. They said it was a worse company in America than Exxon and the oil companies that had literally
that was the same year they spilled the oil in the ocean. I forgot what year it was.
They were
there was no way, bro. Yeah, no way.
The insane privilege of Americans. But I kind of agree with this. I've said before, EA, to give transparency. A lot of us on this podcast, myself as included, I have worked with EA in the past. I've worked with people who've worked for EA in the past. I disagree. I don't like a lot of their upper executive. I definitely don't like their CEO. But I think a lot of the people on the ground who work at EA that do a lot of the stuff, that make the games, that even in the marketing area, that work on the marketing plans for these games, they're very smart and they're really good people. I've had conversations at dinner with a lot of them. and they're very insightful, and they really do genuinely care about the games that they're working on. But there's a lot of the time there's a lot of interference, which causes them a lot of problems. So I guess the only thing I don't agree with this is I don't like the idea of. Let me do it this way. I get what he's trying to say about the AA take. I agree that I don't think that publishers should just be trying to see, because publishers will always get it wrong. They're always going to perceive it as AA, but they're not going to understand what truly that means, right? They're just going to say, oh, this just means we can have the expectation.
Can I bring that up since you brought it up?
Yeah,
like just for like reference. So like what he's referencing is in the same interview, he was talking about the success of Expedition 33, and he was basically saying he doesn't want to see a bunch of people copy AA games like Expedition 33. He predicts it's going to be a long string of influence, and he wants to see people keep being creative. He doesn't want to see a world without AAA games, which is weird because I don't think I've ever heard anybody come out of their mouth say, oh man, I don't want any fucking AAA games ever. I don't know what. This one was a worse statement than the other one, but go ahead, Ethos.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of the attitude a lot of people think is that I think people don't like AAA as it's currently in its current iteration. They don't like the practices that
they wanted to improve, but I've never heard anybody say never make a AAA again. Like, what are you talking about, buddy?
But I do also agree with the idea of I don't want AAA publishers to try to think that they can make. I've always said I'm cool with them making smaller, more experimental games with smaller groups of people, but I know that what that means for AAA is they think that means we can cut costs. That's what their mind's going to think is, oh, that means we can cut, thousands of more workers off of our list. And then we can make the teams even smaller and we can give them smaller budgets, but we can push more profit margin and, obviously like make it cost more and that sort of stuff. But make the budgets of the games much smaller. And if I give you a smaller budget, it's a smaller game. It should be faster, right? So you should be able to implement the game faster. I think I hate to be nihilistic on this take, but I wouldn't be shocked, obviously, if someone like Ubisoft or EA tried to make a AA game. I would say Split Fiction's the closest you kind of get to that, but I argue Split Fiction's they're independent. They are actually an indie studio. They are independent. They are not owned by EA, but they are, I think from a budget standpoint, I think they basically are touching like AAA level money. So I don't know. It's one of those weird things where we don't know what indie means anymore. No one knows what indie means anymore or AA anymore. So
what is an indie? What is the Souls like? We don't know anything.
Yeah, we don't know anymore. Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle. I feel like this is the right message, but the wrong messenger. And the reason being is like, all right, I'll give you that. Yeah, sometimes people do dunk on EA a little too hard sometimes, but then I also feel like I understand why people dislike them. I'm gonna be honest, like you're right. They have done right by us sometimes, EA. Ethos, but they've also fucked us over plenty of times, and and they fucked us over really bad. Let's not forget Mass Effect Andromeda, okay? Because I'm still pissed about it. My reputation took a big hit off of Mass Effect Andromeda because that vertical, we got to play Mass Effect Andromeda earlier. That vertical slice was much better than the full game.
No. TBH is BSing. No. Because they did not give us no vertical slice. We got to play the game before everyone else, so we just got a 36-hour jump on everybody else to play the game. That's all we got. The game you should be mad at is Anthem. Anthem is where they screwed us. It was not
so
really
you admit they screwed us? you know what? You're
I agree with you. You just got the game wrong. It was definitely Anthem.
Anthem was bad because I don't know if we told this story.
We told them what was wrong. We both told them what was wrong with
They flew us out to Sweden to play this shit a year in advance. We sat in a room for like 8 hours and gave a shit ton of feedback on how to improve the game. None of it was in the game. But if you go play Anthem, go on YouTube and search the credits. Me and Ethos' name is in the credits, bro. I was like, this is not the way I want to be known as a game developer, bro. I was like, oh my god. So yes, EA has fucked us over, not just from a financial standpoint, but from our credibility standpoint. That being said,
was cool. DICE has a cool studio. I will say that.
EA Studios is lit across the board. Their studios are nice. They're nice. Really cool. And we met some nice people from EA who have helped us. So like, it's like 50-50, but I still feel like it's the right messenger. Right message, wrong messenger. And the reason being is I feel like he should just keep it business. Like, yo, they're cutting you a fat check to make these games and your games are great. I'm not going to lie. Very rare case where somebody goes 3 for 3 and especially is a new studio. But personally, I feel like he should just be quiet. He likes to yap a lot because it is a business relationship and you should never forget that you work for EA. The only reason EA is treating you well is because we all know they like money and you're 3 for 3 right now.
But he's not owned by EA.
That's not. I'd actually argue. It's still.
That's why he's talking more than normal people.
But the point I'm trying to make is, especially because he's not owned by them, he's not going to get as many chances. So if his next game flops, they're gonna stop cutting them checks, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yo,
I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't matter. I think he's beyond EA. At this point, he could say, do what he always says. Fuck EA. He could say fuck EA one day, and I guarantee you, he could go to any other publisher in the market right now and get a deal for it. I guarantee. Who would not take him for his next game? If he's like, I'm about to prototype a new game.
It depends. Okay, I half agree with that. Hold on, I half agree with that. If his next game comes out and it's like a 6 or a 7, and EA is like, we're gonna move in another direction, I think another publisher would pick him up. But if he drops a 5 or below, no.
But do you see a world where that's really possible based off what he's done?
Yes, because Justin Bieber once said, "Never say never."
No. I think as long as the talent is still there, as long as they genuinely love making the games they make,
ethos,
and they've been showing that, I don't think that it goes
ethos.
back. I really don't.
In this timeline, Platinum Games released Bayonetta 2 and The Legend of Korra. In this timeline, Platinum Games has released Nier Automata, one of your favorite games, and that Ninja Turtle shit. Don't tell me it's not possible. But
you understand that those are different circumstances. Like, different people worked on those different games. It wasn't like every single person that was on Platinum Games worked on that. They're working on multiple games. So obviously, if their budget's smaller or they have different things, they might have a smaller team work on it. But if they genuinely care about the project, or Yoko Taro did not work on Ninja Turtles. See what I mean?
That doesn't matter though, ethos in the grand scheme of things.
Do you think the average person knows that?
I'll tell you why. Back me up on this. I'll use your example. Platinum Game literally dropped one of the worst games to come out last year. You remember what it was?
Yeah,
Babylon Falls. And then what did they do literally the next year?
Ninja Gaiden 4 with Team Ninja.
They literally got another collab.
I don't get you proving my point even more. So we just gave you 3 examples.
But what I'm saying is, even if you make a bad game, right? Even if you make some quote unquote like some bad games or some alternative games, it's not going to straight up deter you from being
whoa. Is that what we're calling bad games now?
TBH.
Alternative games.
TBH, dog. They took that. I love slandering him. They took that bum from Call of Duty that made Call of Duty Ghosts, and they gave him his own Ubisoft studio to make X Defiant. And I said from the very beginning, why did you hire this bum to do it? He does not make a good Call of Duty. Why? And they gave him a bunch of money to make a Call of Duty killer.
Come on, it's Ubisoft. Come on, at this point,
I promise.
That's a different conference. EA is not as bad as Ubisoft. That's a different conversation.
Ubisoft are worse.
The next time you talk about, and Watts can tell you, the next time, because they happens at Bungie too. The next time you talk to a developer privately, ask them if they've ever experienced a person who fails upwards. I'd argue half of Microsoft's top tier is people who are failing upwards, people who have made flops, have made mistakes.
That's society as a whole.
Astronomically, and they literally get promoted and go higher up on the food chain. So I don't buy the idea that just because you flop, you end up just sinking, unless everything that you put up, all your collateral is you and your studio. You have no backer. You have no Microsoft. You have none of that. If you're by yourself, you fuck up, that's it. Like Highguard, right? Like the like Concord Studio, same thing. Yeah. You hit a dud. We're wrapping it up. It's a call it a day. But when you got that seniority experience, I don't know why, but in the gaming industry, you tend to fail upwards. It happened at Bungie. It happened at Microsoft, which is why Microsoft's in hell right now. It happens multiple times.
You smiling, Jay? What you got to say?
Nah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think that it definitely was the right message and the wrong messenger. But yeah, this goes back to, I mean, just the general sentiment of studios as a whole. We typically never look at the executives and everyone that really makes it the higher up decisions. And this is just not a video game. This is just period, which is why I mentioned on the WB CEO for so long, because nobody blames him for all of his terrible actions. And now WB is in the state that they're in right now.
Yeah, let's talk about the WB guy. Let's slander him for a second.
Yeah, I've been slandering him. But nobody slandering him. Fuck Jocelyn, bro. Like, I'm tired of him. And nobody blames him. Everybody blames everybody else. And it's really bad in video games because, again, you have these individual studios that are under this entire conglomerate here. And when EA, in this example, makes a bad decision or makes a bad game, then what does the general public say? EA sucks. EA is a bad company. When it's not EA as a whole, it's mainly, in my opinion, the executives and the higher ups, the ones who are really making the money, and the stakeholders that have a lot riding on these video games. And again, the bottom line is always going to be the moolah. It's always going to be the money. So no, if there's a game that's not even made by DICE or a game that's not even made by Respawn, or some other studio over here is bad, I don't say, hey, Respawn sucks, or I don't say DICE sucks. I say EA sucks. And you don't just blame it, or you blame the studio when, again, it may be the executive or the CEO that has made those decisions, including crunching, bringing out a game that's unfinished because you have these strict deadlines, completely changing the game because you don't see the vision that the developers have. There are multiple things that we've talked about so many times on this podcast that leads to these unfinished overall bad games, and it may not be, again, the developers' full vision that are working on this game. But guess what? That game comes out, it sucks, and especially in the last 5 years, you're getting the boot. Not only you, but your entire studio is getting the boot, and that's what I feel is unfair a lot of times.
Even when your game is good, you might get the boot. What was it? What's the cartoon game that came out last year? The action music game. From Bethesda.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. Even if your game is good.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Dude, that makes me mad.
Absolutely terrible. So going back to Joseph and what he said, I'm hoping that he's not just drinking the Kool-Aid because he's cool with the EA people now, because he's 3 for 3. Because that's what it's sounding like to me with him making this statement. Yes, I agree with him in general. I think the EA gets a lot more shit than they deserve. But I think that the person, if you're really mad at the company and you're like, hey, like, I don't want to play anything, or I just don't like you as a whole, I think you need to redirect their energy towards some of the executives and the CEOs. Look up their names and crap on them instead of just crapping on the studio as a whole, or the publisher as a whole here. But I just don't want Joseph to like get over his head just because he may be cool with some of the EA people now and not understand or fully understand why some people say what they say about EA in particular here.
Yeah, I just say keep it cordial. What you think, Watt?
Yeah. So Wild Hearts had a similar situation with EA as It Takes Two and that studio does with EA, where it's part of the EA Creators Program. So you remain independent, but you have EA helping you with stuff. And Wild Hearts, I was a big part of Wild Hearts, and I really, really love the game. And it was Koei Tecmo working with EA on like voice acting and advertising in the West and stuff like that. So I spoke to someone who was a pretty high up on the EA creators section of EA. And they were like, Wild Hearts is enough of a success for us to like stick with it. And that's awesome. Like, it's already a success. The game stopped getting support after they kind of ran the course of the content that they had already made. And EA dropped it like a bag of bricks. So that made me go, huh? And this isn't this guy's fault. Like, he's rooting for the game. It's, people who are above him at EA, not EA creators. It's like, you just said that we were cool, we were chilling. I thought that we had already locked in support. It had done well. It did really well, but it hadn't continued to do well. So it ended up getting dropped. It did end up being able to maintain their game, though. They then released it on the Switch too, separately from EA, so that's good. But yeah, it definitely shows me that kind of what you said, TBH. They can drop you if you don't do as well as they want you to consistently. Because even when you do well, it's still not good enough if you don't keep doing well. So yeah, I think in terms of giving hate to EA, they've done good things, they've done bad things. I think there's definitely companies that I look down upon more than EA, but generally I look down on all CEOs. So they're all dumb and they're all bad.
All the time, bro.
Every time they open their mouth, I'm like, oh my god.
They say some dumb shit every time.
Every time fails.
Here we
they're
go
all
again.
Equally terrible.
When was the last time you heard a CEO come out and say something really good and it ended up going well with the community? Think about
never.
it.
They're so out of touch.
It's hard.
So out of touch.
Because they don't interact with the community. It's just the devs that do it. So then they don't even know what's going on, which is unfortunate. But I mean, it is what it is. Shout out to Joseph, man. Yeah. I would say stop yapping, but you do give good stories to talk on the podcast, so maybe I'm in the middle.
Keep yapping, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate him being.
You got some interesting
more
takes.
Honest. Yeah, he's
I like that
honest
he's
with his
honest.
thoughts.
Yeah, I like he's blunt. I like that he just gets to the
I got another honest, blunt take from a former Bethesda developer, somebody who worked on the art in Starfield. They recently gave an interview where they stated the only reason, and this is not confirmed, but they, as somebody who worked at Bethesda, they feel like the only reason, because it's been 8 years since it was announced, that Elder Scrolls 6 was announced 8 years ago is because they were working on Starfield, and internally at Bethesda, the execs were worried that the Bethesda fans were going to be pissed that they were going to be releasing this new IP versus Elder Scrolls 6. So what he's saying is they just finagled together some bullshit ass CG trailer and then put Elder Scrolls 6 at the end, but there was never any work done. This is why we're 8 years later, almost on 10 years. We still haven't seen any gameplay, got any details. And it was simply because they were worried that you were going to get pissed that Starfield came out, not because Starfield was ass. I see you laughing, Ethos. What do you think?
Thank you for not saying you're a game dev.
Laughs.
No, I think it's hilarious. I don't know why anyone would be mad it's not Elder Scrolls. I feel like more gamers are tired of the fatigue of going to a 6 sequel than like, oh, you're making something brand new. This is more exciting. Unless obviously it's like a setting they hate. So I don't know. I didn't really see a lot of people mad at Starfield being announced. I think everyone was always excited for it. But I think now people are more upset that you literally teased them for 8 months, 8 years straight, and there's nothing done, which I was shocked too that they showed it that early, because I was like, don't y'all still have Starfield to work on? And I don't see how you get Starfield done. And I feel like Bethesda's just been getting smaller as a studio. I don't think they've been getting bigger. So I was like, I don't know how you guys are working on this and also working on Elder Scrolls, which has to be a massive game. So yeah.
I find it very fascinating, this story, because it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about CEOs being out of touch. I find it very fascinating that these executives at Bethesda were worried that you and I would be pissed that they're launching a new IP. Because if you were really in tune with the gaming community, you would know one of the main criticisms, at least that I see, is this generation's been lackluster compared to previous, because it's mainly just been sequels with a few new IPs sprinkled in. When it comes to new consoles, the thing people are excited about is new storylines, new experiences, new gameplay mechanics. So it's really interesting that the executives, if this story is true, that were worried that we'd be annoyed by Starfield being a new IP. No. Like it's not great now, but we were excited when it first got announced. What you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like Starfield, one of the most hyped IPs, period. Like when it got announced, people were waiting on seeing more information. And I remember when they finally did that, like Starfield, like when Bethesda got acquired, they did that whole just Starfield conference, and like people were like super excited to finally see something, after it got announced. So I don't think that the people that generally played Elder Scrolls and played through all of those were upset. And I think it was quite the opposite. So I mean, there may have been a small audience. I don't know, because I don't play Elder Scrolls. So I don't know exactly what the community thinks. So I don't want to speak for y'all. But I would imagine that just in general, the consensus was that nobody truly cared and was like, hey, you announced Starfield, where's my Elder Scrolls? Like, it's not one of those type of things, because people were super duper excited about just the announcement for Starfield. So I don't think that the Elder Scrolls fans were clamoring and huffing the copium, as it says, just because it wasn't announced. So to do a teaser for Elder Scrolls 6 and have this, allegedly be the reason is kind of funny. I don't think that was the case at all.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Watts?
Yeah. I think you're right in that I hear a lot of criticism of these big studios are just kind of resting on their laurels and repeating the same IP over and over and over again. And these AAA devs are so afraid of doing something new and fresh. And that's like a big reason why people were praising Capcom with Pragmata, right? It's like, oh my God, this is their first new IP in so long. And it's been at the top of the most anticipated list for years and years and years now because of that, largely. So there would, of course, be hardcore Elder Scrolls fans that would say, really, you're doing this instead of Elder Scrolls? But I think the vast majority of people would have been overall excited that it was a brand new IP and they were going out there and trying something different. So, yeah, I don't agree with what they expected the community to react.
which is unfortunate. Elder Scroll fans are still waiting. Bethesda, get it together. You guys got time.
It's much worse to announce something and wait like 20 years for it to come out.
You guys are too busy putting together and granted, the Fallout TV show is good, but you guys are too busy doing TV shows and other shit.
I love being shocked by that. We got the interview.
A 9 out of 10, really?
He said, "Oh, you guys liked it? Wow!" Like the studio was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, bad surprise. Yeah.
And I feel bad for Elder Scroll fans because you might be waiting a little bit longer. This week, it was announced that Bethesda, alongside Amazon, will be launching another television show centered around the concept of Fallout shelters. If you never played Fallout. The world it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where all-out nuclear war breaks out and people go into vaults, underground shelters, and eventually they emerge and, society tries to, fix itself and factions break out and all this. There's more to it. But anyways, Amazon is putting together a show centered around the concept of Fallout shelters. And according to the official press release, they are looking for casting. They're casting for contestants right now if you want to be on it. They said the casting call calls for contestants who will live together in a top secret vault and compete in games related to core attributes from the Fallout universe. Loyalty and alliances between dwellers will also be tested, with the official Twitter account describing the game as containing escalating challenges, strategic dilemmas, and moral conundrums. Casting applications close on February 15th, so Google it if you want to get on the show. Also, translation, the vibe I'm getting from the show, think Survivor takes place inside of Fallout vaults, basically. Jay, how you feeling about this one?
I should ask you first. You were actually the only one on this panel that has been on a reality show. How do you feel about this?
First of all, I wouldn't go on this shit. First of all, reality TV is terrible because they take your phone. So, you actually got to talk to the people. That shit's annoying if you don't like them. Anyways, I don't like this shit. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I like the Fallout TV show. It is great. It's well written, well acted, but I don't like this shit. I feel like this show, and it doesn't help that it's being produced by Amazon, aka Lex Luthor, Jeff Bezos. It feels a little dystopian because I feel like with this show, with the Fallout TV show, it's celebrating the culture of the show and creating a spin-off narrative around it that keeps the core themes of and that's what makes the show so great, right? There's a message there. I feel like with this reality TV show, this is just a cash grab to cash in on the Fallout name because it's hot right now. And it feels dystopian and it makes me feel like we're losing the plot. The reason being is, if you haven't played the game, minor spoilers, but like you kind of find out, or at least in the show, you kind of find out that there's like this Illuminati group in the background ran by corporate CEOs, as we mentioned, and they're manipulating things in the background that causes a nuclear holocaust. And then you find out that they're doing experiments on people in the vault, and we want to make a reality show out of that. I kind of feel I'm not going to be watching this shit. I'm good off this, man. I don't know. I feel like we're losing the plot.
This is like
I got a question about this show.
Go for it.
Does it take place in an actual underground bunker?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
So,
I might go
on to avoid the imminent actual war that we're about to experience. It might be the safest place you can go.
Yeah, maybe I'll reconsider.
Maybe I do want to do the casting call. What's the name? What you about to say, Ethos?
I was gonna say it's just like exactly what Netflix did with Squid Games. Where Squid Games is literally a critique of the very thing that they did.
Yeah, they were clearly riding off the coattails of the success of Fallout, like TV had said. It's funny. Like, I thought we were done with reality shows. Like, you literally have already Mr. Beast game, which is funny because I don't know anybody that's watched Mr. Beast games on Amazon, but I saw a clip that's going viral now about the dude who took $1 million and literally sabotaged his team. He was like, "I'll give you $1 million right now." He said, hit that boy. I'll do that too. But even his show, like Mr. Beast being the biggest creator in the world, like I didn't hear about too many people watching. So I would love to see like what the ratings are on that. And now you're bringing another reality show on top of that. So you're just doing spinoffs on spinoffs on spinoffs. So like you're just literally churning them out. Did y'all know that Fear Factor came back? Mm-hmm. And it has Johnny Knoxville here now. When was the last time that Fear Factor was on the air? Like we're still going with this stuff. Like I thought we were done with the reality like game show era, but we are still going. Survivor still happening. The Amazing Race, like all of these shows I used to watch back then. I'm not into this stuff.
Is that a recession? Is that a recession indicator?
I don't know.
Yeah, it actually is because I don't know if you know, but reality TV, the reason, especially I learned this from Love is Blind. the reason they keep pumping out new seasons back to back to back is because it's easy to produce and it's cheap. So like they use the same set, the same, you know, cameraman and all this other stuff versus like a show like, I don't know, Shogun or even like Fallout, where you got to sit there and you got to hire high quality writers. You got to do costumes, special effects, when you could just do the reality show and just, you know, rent out a house and bring some people who want to be famous in there for $5. It's just way easier to mass produce, basically.
Yeah, I heard they be getting paid pennies to be on these shows. I mean, you can turn it into like if you end up getting, you know, popular, you can turn it into, you know, something potentially fruitful. But yeah, I mean, that does make sense. But yeah, I want to see the previews of the show, like once I actually get everything together to determine whether I'll even give it my attention. But initially, I'm just kind of like, no, I'd rather just watch a TV show.
I love that it's like said, same thing with Squid Games, where it's this awful thing that people are going on because they have a choice in life and they're about to be eaten by their debt. And they're like, let's make a show about that.
Yeah, I was like, did y'all watch the show? Like, this ain't something cool to be on. Like, what if y'all die for real? Like,
it goes against the actual like narrative of the shows, right? Like, this is not a good thing. This is bad.
Seriously,
we're losing the plot, guys. We're losing the plot.
Continuous thing right now with capitalism. Right now, we just keep losing the plot over and over again.
It's unfortunate, but hey, if you want to be on the show, the casting call is up until February 15th. You got a month basically if you want to be on the show. Maybe we'll see one of you guys on there. I think JG's gonna really like this next story. We got the data. We got the data on the most downloaded, not necessarily the most played in terms of hours, but the most downloaded games of 2025 on the PS5. And I think this data is very significant, at least for the console side of things. Because last time I checked, for every Xbox sold, there was 5 PS5 sold. So basically PS5 data represents pretty much all console gamers. Steam PC is something completely different because you'll find that with the top 10 games, there's something completely different. But when it comes to Xbox, PlayStation, the numbers are pretty comparable. And if you look, number 10, MLB The Show, Ghost of Yotei, Arc Raiders, Black Ops 7, Minecraft. Then we got college football and Madden, GTA 5, Battlefield 6, and NBA 2K26. What do you notice here, Jay?
Man, it's only ball and gun games, and it's only one exclusive. Oh, and 2 because the MLB The Show. I can't forget that. But that is also a ball and gun game. All of these are ball and gun games.
Nine out of the 10 most popular games on PS5 were ball and gun games,
and they're multi-plat too, except for The Show.
And some of them are real old.
Are you the only one?
Yes.
Who is downloading GTA 5? Who?
Still.
I think the most disappointing thing about this when I look at this data is it kind of like, because if these are the games you like, because Arc Raiders is solid, Ghost of Yotei is solid, you know, I like Battlefield 6. I even liked NBA 2K. I liked some of these games. My issue with this list being the top 10 is if we go look at what the nominations were for Game of the Year, I don't see none of these. I don't see none of the nominations in the top 10, but everybody's show had an opinion on it. That is my problem with this list, bro. You can be mad all you want, but the data don't lie.
Another interesting thing, Black Ops is not in the top 10. I see they said it was number 11 here, but Black Ops 6 was not in the top 10.
Bad sign.
Yep. I mean, that actually is a perfect segue to the next one, because Bobby Kotick recently said in an earnings report that sales were down 60% for Black Ops 7 compared to last year. People just weren't really fucking with it. Still one of the most downloaded games on the PlayStation, but in comparison to previous years, I mean, it's down. You just expect COD to be in the top 5 like every year for the ball and gun gamers. Not this year. They were not fucking with it, man. Why do you think that is, Watts?
It's not good anymore. Well, for me, I haven't liked it for many, many years. I don't know. We're doing the same thing over and over again. We're not innovating very much. There's not a whole lot that's making people have a reason to say, oh, this is the Call of Duty I'm going to try this year. This looks like it's doing something different, something fun, something fresh. So I think after you've played something for so many years, they have to give you a compelling reason to play it. It's why we see a bunch of these games that live for so long, losing players. Even if they make a good game or a good DLC or a good season or whatever, sometimes it gets to the point that it's just not enough and people are looking for something different. And it's not different.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing coming out of this story for me is the fact that I'm actually halfway defending Bobby Kotick, because he said specifically in the quarter report that they said that they were on track to perform over 60% below last year because of intense competition from titles like Battlefield. That particular statement pissed a lot of people off on Twitter, and a lot of people were saying, no, it's not because of Battlefield. It's because Arc Raiders is destroying it. And that's true. But this is an example of what I mean with revisionist history and why like gaming discourse is getting fucking annoying to me. It's true. Right now, Arc Raiders is eating everybody's lunch from a multiplayer standpoint. But let's not act like for a good 2 months, Battlefield was not. It was so many COD fans that jumped over to Battlefield 6 because they hated probably Black Ops 7 for whatever reason. It sold 10 million. No, last I checked, I think it sold 20 million copies. They made a shit ton of money. Battlefield did destroy Black Ops 7 momentum, and then I think Arc Raiders came in and finished it. They did the finishing blow. So it was a 1-2. Maybe he should have threw Arc Raiders in there, but like I don't like this revisionist history where people were trying to act like Battlefield didn't have motion last year. What you think, Jay?
I mean, we literally just in the last list, Battlefield was number 2 on that list. Like, what are we talking about here? Battlefield 6 was literally number 2 in about that lot of games on PS5, and Arc Raiders was number 9. So again, like you can't argue against the numbers. But the most important thing here about Bobby Kotick's statement was competition. You see what happens when somebody gets on Call of Duty's ass? You see what happens when you actually make a good FPS title and you can compete with the big dog that has been running stuff. That's why I want, like, again, like in the basketball space and in the football space, I want these other studios to be able to come through and be able to do something. But again, you have to deal with the licenses and stuff, and that's a whole nother conversation, because they can't get the NBA license and IPs, and you can't get the NFL license and IP. But for shooting games, it's a different story. There are no IPs attached to it. So DICE did a good thing. They were able to finally come out with a good Battlefield that brought people back to the nostalgia, and actually a very solid title. And people who were sick of playing Call of Duty, but only played Call of Duty because that was the only FPS title out that everybody knew, and it's a household name, and it comes out every year. You can expect it. Multiplayer, hop on, hop off with your friends. Now you have some competition, and you see that they ate y'all lunch. So that's why, 100%, why they had 60% lower numbers there. So competition is really important. That's what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
Any takes on the downfall of Black Ops, Watts? Not Watts, but Ethos, my bad.
No, I agree. I got nothing to add to that. I've shit on them for the last 3 podcasts, so I'm giving them a break.
All right. Well, let me get your take on this, because you're a game dev.
A shirt.
A former Bethesda developer said GTA 6's 10-year development cycle would be very bad for any other game. Basically, they're saying Rockstar is the only studio that can get away with a 10-year dev cycle. If this would have happened for anybody else, the game would fail off rip. Do you agree with that, Ethos?
So he's saying if it takes you 10 years, it's probably going to be bad. Or it has
not necessarily the quality of the game will be bad, but he's saying like it would lose the motion, the hype. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think the only exception to that was like I can only think of like 2 games maybe that came close to like a GTA level of hype, which I think would have been Cyberpunk and World of Warcraft. But I don't. It's been so long ago. I was a kid, so I don't remember. I just remember it was like, oh, Halo 3,
Kingdom Hearts.
I don't feel like Kingdom Hearts was that hyped.
Kingdom Hearts 3?
Not compared to Halo 3.
Well, not compared to them, but it definitely.
But it was up there. People was waiting for that.
Yeah,
one.
Maybe. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I definitely agree with the idea that like GTA can get away with a lot. Honestly, they could delay a game another 5 years and people are still gonna wait, just because there's that level of quality that you expect from them for taking that long. So you kind of get that. But I don't think a lot of other studios have that level of grace to do it. I think the only studio that did was CD Projekt, but then when Cyberpunk came out and was a mess for a lot of people, that kind of tarnished that type of like that type of respect. So I don't think people would ever respect CD Projekt doing another like Cyberpunk where it takes them a longer time to develop the game. They're just going to be like, I don't think Witcher 4 can go through that level, that like a 10-year or 8-year development cycle. I think they have to get Witcher 4 out in like 4 years, 5 years tops. From Software might be able to get away with it though now. but they've been. I don't feel like they ever.
They're kind of pumping. They've been pumping. Yeah,
they're just on.
You don't have to wait that long.
Efficient.
They're like the opposite. They're like the literal polar opposite of GTA. I feel
they
like
got their workflows going, man.
Yeah. They're really optimized. They know how to use their tools. I mean, their tools could be use a little bit of upgrading, but they know their workflows, and they know. I'm assuming they're retaining their talent really well. That's why they're able to keep implementing new games every like 2-3 years really fast.
So I'm gonna say I actually disagree with you. I don't think GTA 6 is the only Rockstar is the only publisher that can get away with a 10-year development cycle. Okay. Well, no, my answer is I don't think any game can. And I'm gonna tell you why. I think Rockstar can't get away with this 10-year development cycle, and it might take longer because it might get delayed again. Not because I don't think Rockstar can deliver on a quality product, but because of the community. We just saw number 3 most downloaded game on the PS5 is GTA 5. What I'm taking into consideration is the ball and gun community is looking at Grand Theft Auto 6 as the second coming of Jesus. This is their Michael Jordan. This is their Kobe. This is their LeBron. And if this thing is anything less than a 9 out of fucking 10, oh, it's going to be hell on social media. And I'm going to be jumping up and down in my chair like a fucking court jester. You think them waiting for an 8 out of 10 is going to go well with this community? They look at the way that this audience, and obviously it's not all of them, but look at the way some of this audience talks about other games. Gaming is dead. What the fuck is that, Hades? That shit corny. Kingdom, that shit, who the fuck plays that shit, bruh? Look at the way they talk about you think if this thing gets let, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm feeling like a 9 out of 10 is generous. I feel like GTA 6 got to if they get a 9, it'd be cool. But I think if they really want to be safe, it's got to average a 9.5. And the longer they wait, the worse it's gonna get. Because I think the community is putting all their hopes and dreams into this game, and I don't even know why. What do you think, Watts?
Yeah, I think you're totally right. It's the thing of when you keep building anticipation, people start putting their own thoughts of what the game is going to be like rather than knowing that. Exactly. Yeah. And when we see it all the time, people get mad when something isn't in a game that they never said was going to be in the game, but they thought it was going to be in the game. So the longer it keeps
I can give you an example of that. There's been plenty of tweets over the last year from like just random Rockstar like fan accounts with a check, because now you can pay for a check mark, and I hate that shit, that have said GTA 6 will have a 3v3 online basketball mode. Go look at the comments of that shit. I'm pretty sure we covered it on the podcast. Yeah. And like I've joked, I'm like, yo, if they really put a competitor into this game that competes with 2K, we never get enough. Like they're really putting their hopes in, but Rockstar's never confirmed there's going to be any basketball in this shit, bro. Look at the way they're commenting about it. Oh man, I can't wait. But go ahead, Watts. My bad.
No, it's always bad when you keep having more expectations and more expectations. I think it's obviously GTA is one of those games that is very different to every other game in the world with how much it's going to sell, how much people like it. I think people will give it a lot of leeway because it's GTA, like we see with Nintendo. Like Mario Kart should have been available for any awards or any hype or anything. People did not like it. The public didn't really like it. But yeah, I think the more that they keep doing it, I think I'd be surprised if fans don't start getting a little upset too. Like you've delayed this game over and over and over and over again. Like what's going on? I'm surprised I haven't seen more people getting upset about it already. But I'm sure it'll come out and it will make them happy because they don't play anything else. So I think as long as if it's on the same plane as GTA 5 or a little bit better, they will be happy.
What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with this statement. I think it's really no other game company, publisher, it's literally like the only game that could do this, especially in our lifetime, that we have like these 10-year plus games that are out, and we have this weird narrative that's going around with the ball and gun gamers. I'm really trying to figure out when the bubble will burst with people's patience, because I feel like Rockstar has gotten so much grace and really at this point has so much plot armor. It's been 13 years now since freaking GTA 5 has come out. As I want people to really like think about that. Like, what were you doing 13 years ago? Like, that is a very long time to like be anticipating the next iteration of one of your favorite franchises, and for it to still not be out, and there may be a possibility that it still does not come out this year. If I was a huge GTA fan and I was still playing and I've been waiting on this game and I'm like, man, I don't care about anything else that came out, the Elden Rings, FS33, like F all that. If GTA 6 don't come out, like if I was one of those people, I would be upset like now, but people just keep giving them grades. We started the whole $100 argument, $200. I pay an infinite amount. Like they're still going with all of this. I just want the game. So I don't know how much longer it'll take for the bubble to finally burst and people to be like just unanimously upset if the game gets delayed again, any further. Because again, we just don't know. But yeah, I feel like Rockstar the only company that can get away with this, man. It's like they want me. How do they keep getting away with this? Like it keeps happening, bro. It literally keeps happening.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and I think the starting point will become November or like maybe right before, and we see whether or not it even comes out. Because I project if it does get delayed again, that's when you're going to start to see a little bit of pushback. A third time, bro? What the fuck? What are we supposed to do without that shit, man?
I can see that.
Like, this is gonna be the last year. This last straw for them.
Yeah,
that's what happened with Cyberpunk. It got the first 2, I think, or 3 delays. It was fine. People were just like, "Take your time. You're making something crazy. We get it. Take your time." And then I think it was that 4th one with that little yellow picture shop. They put it posted on Twitter. That became a meme. They were like,
"Oh yeah, it did. Oh my god,
fake game."
Then the community turned against Cyberpunk. A lot of the gamers were like, "I don't care. Drop it. You said that this game was going to be out in blah 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 blah, and it's been delayed. We were supposed to get this in 2018, 2019, and now it's almost 2020. And we still got it. Drop it now." I remember distinctly.
And then remember how it released in 2020.
And then when it released,
so you had the anticipation. It was buggy.
Yep.
So imagine the same thing happens with GTA 6. It starts to turn a little bit, and remember the rumors are that it's not even content done. So let's say the game drops, they rush it out. It's not optimized. Oh, hell's gonna break loose.
It'll be Cyberpunk levels of. It'll be 2 times worse.
It would be worse than Cyberpunk.
It'll be
worse.
Way worse.
People on Facebook gonna be talking about it.
Yeah, they will hang people for that. I promise you. They will go and be running up to the office and stuff, just mad as hell at them. Yeah, it'll be bad.
We're going to see how that one play out later this year.
I'm very curious. I'm also curious about when it finally comes out, the Game Awards of that year. I hope there's something that's so good that there's no way it can lose.
God.
Yeah, GTA 6 is not in every single category that could possibly, like, I don't care if it's esports, it's an esport now. It's a multiplayer game. It's a family game.
I mean, if it has
if
that
X33 would have won the year that GTA 6 came out, they would have lost it.
We would not
have lost it.
Oh, hell on earth.
We would have heard a lot
explode.
more spiritual Israeli comments. I think.
And you know what the crazy part is? I'll say something controversial. Grand Theft Auto 6 ain't out, and I feel confident saying I don't think it's going to be better than the Expedition. I think it would have beat it, bro. Like, so
damn,
by the judges, I think judges could easily vote for
I agree with you, but we know the agenda. There's no way in hell it would win.
Even though
we know deep in our heart,
politics,
they would get.
Yeah, I'm telling you, those judges would get death threats. They would get death threats. I promise you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What you mean you don't like it more than me? Where you live at? Drop the alley. That shit is crazy. That's all I got in terms of the main part of the show. So I got a few quick hits. Y'all can comment on it. I didn't know if there's really some crazy conversations here. So I'm gonna just run through this and y'all let me know what y'all are interested in. We're gonna actually keep it in the realm of Rockstar for these first few. Bully Online, the multiplayer mod created by some fans on Discord. It actually got really popular, and after about a month of it launching, Rockstar shut that shit down. How we feeling?
What a surprise, right?
Which, by the way, Rockstar has made it very clear they have no interest in making a Bully 2. They shut down a free mod. What do you think? You're laughing over there, Ethos.
It started, and I was like so happy. I was like, "Oh, I was gonna try it myself," and then you're like, and then 1 month later, I just knew what it was gonna be.
It is insane to me that there and this has happened more than once, where you have no desire to continue supporting a game, and you have fans make your game still live and be playable, and you're like, nope, get out of here.
You get mad, just because it's your IP. It's
crazy.
Really sad. Yeah.
Listen, man, I don't know what to do with that one. Rockstar, they also launched an official user-generated content marketplace for mods. I've seen a lot of people super excited about this. Personally, I don't think you guys should be that excited about it. I think everything should be going through like Nexus mod, being community controlled. Because in the press release, the thing that's a red flag in my opinion, the CFX marketplace is being described as a curated digital storefront where talented 5M creators can share and sell their work. And specifically the word curated is the one that kind of piqued my interest because I'm like, oh, so we're going from anybody can make a mod for GTA 5 to it's only what's Rockstar approved. So I feel like a lot of people are reading the headline and getting super excited about, oh, I can make some money. I don't think this is for everybody. What y'all think?
Didn't Fallout do this? I thought for 4.
Yeah, I remember they got some backlash for that too, making their own official store or whatever.
They were gonna make their own like mod store, and they were gonna make some mods for it was a console store or something like that, and they were trying to get exclusive mods on it, and that's what pissed people off because they feel like it should always be free and open. I mean, people are trying to be Roblox. They just trying to get some more predators.
They are. I think that's the thing with the mod community, right? The whole thing is that it's free and it's open and it's community driven, and when you start messing with that, I think it kind of changes the landscape in not a positive way.
Yeah. What about this one? We get a first look at Sophie Turner as Lara Croft in the upcoming Tomb Raider live action adaptation show on Amazon. What's the word? What's the vibe? We like the costume.
I like the costume a lot.
I'm gonna say it. I like it.
Yeah,
I get that people like the boobs ain't as big, but I will say, I think that's the only con. But other than that, I think
the boobs ain't as triangular, which upsets me.
The boobas.
I feel like if you remove the boob part and you just look at her, it looks like Lara Croft. So I feel like people who are complaining about this, I feel like when people complain about this, what you're basically saying is, oh man, now I gotta pay attention to the story. It was a TV show, bro.
Like the costume looks really good. It looks like classic Lara, which I'm surprised people who are on the other, well, I guess I'm not surprised, that are on the side of this isn't my Lara, are like aren't appreciative of that, because that's normally what they say, right? Like, don't change the video game character to be like a modern audience video game character. This is following OG Tomb Raider, and I think she looks very accurate. I think that's great.
I think so too.
You know what's funny though?
Even though the costume's amazing, it looks
the costume's great. Even though nobody really cared about this movie, I see some people comparing her to the Angelina Jolie.
The movie's just ass. She just looked good.
But Angelina Jolie was fine though, so they're like, oh, bigger.
She doesn't even look like Tomb Raider.
I know. It's Angelina Jolie in the Tomb Raider.
Sophie's at least British.
She's
British.
Right. She wasn't even British.
Yeah, and then of course the GameStop Twitter blowing it up. So I'm like,
that was great, bro. When they was like, "This is not a game store," I was like, "Ooh."
Oh, I was so happy because this is what I'm talking about. When you see companies, game studios, whatever it is, doing this kind of pandering to a specific demographic, that's when you know that their quality of their product is not as good or they are failing, because look at GameStop.
What was that thing you said, Watts, to me? You said when a game about Violet, when a game is like showing like, booba and they're just trying to do lewd skins and stuff, it makes me actually question the quality of the game.
Makes me question the quality of your game, because you should be able to just show me how good your thing is and let it speak on its by itself. But when you're adding all this other stuff, I'm like,
I think whoever's running the current GameStop account on Twitter right now needs to be fired. Whoever's running that account just is trying too hard to be funny and fit in. I wish they would just shut the fuck up, bro. Like there's a lack of self-awareness there. We don't like you
here, unfortunately.
We don't like you. Other casting, I think this one kind of flew a little bit more under the radar was because lack of boobas. But Amazon also has a God of War TV show coming, and they cast their Kratos, which will be played by Ryan Hurst. I had to look this up because I was like, who the fuck is this? And then I realized it's the dude from Remember the Titans, the white boy. Remember the black and the white boy that was best friends in the hospital and shit like that? It's the white dude.
Him?
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a movie since. I looked up the IMDb credits. I was like, okay, he's a solid actor. He's a decent actor. I haven't seen him anything since that. But
Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead. He was in a couple of things.
Oh yeah, he been in some stuff.
Yeah, he was in a couple of things.
So it might. I mean, and Amazon has more hits than misses. I'll give him that much. So we might have two bangers with Lara and with Kratos going.
And he also did it, which is this actually makes more sense because he was actually Thor in Ragnarok.
So now he'll actually be playing Kratos.
Okay,
yeah, now he's gonna be
got the experience.
Yeah. So now he's gonna be Kratos. Yeah, no, I think this is I think they A1 on this casting.
Yeah, put some paint on him, the little ashiness on him. I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, a little sad he's not black, but it works.
Man, we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide this time.
We know the truth.
I just wanted to be like just to see people like lose their minds. I just wanted to learn a little bit.
Nioh 3 demo announced for the PS5 and Steam on January 29th, 2026. Your save file will carry over, which is crazy because they already did a demo, but they tried to make it seem like this wasn't, this is the first one, but, just making people aware, you will be able to play it on the 29th if you care.
Play it. Yeah, it's free, right? You might as well. You can make your character. Knowing Team Ninja's demos, it's going to be a pretty meaty demo that you're going to be able to get a good amount of time in, and you're literally not losing anything because if you end up wanting to play more of it, your save data.
I love these demos where I can just play it and then I don't have to go back to the beginning if I was interested or not. Yeah, so I see you watching the comments here. I can't wait. Peek is almost here.
I didn't even peep you at the top. What a fucking nerd. And Siggy's right below it too. What fucking nerds, bro? I didn't even peep that shit. Battlefield 6 Season 2 was delayed till February. It was supposed to come out already. And then I forgot to put this in the notes, but also there was another story that came out that Battlefield, the DICE team recently picked up the head of Massive Games. I forgot his name, but he's responsible for the recent, Division series. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, man, RIP Vince. I don't know, man, about Battle. I enjoyed Battlefield 6, but I don't know how. I don't like the Division, and now that dude is gonna be in charge of the content, and it got delayed again. You guys need to knock it out of the park for Season 2 to get their momentum back.
They do need to.
Yeah. RIP Vince, man.
What else we got? Oh, you might like this one. The teeny boppers out there. New Life is Strange is coming this year. It's supposed to be announced on January 20th, 2 days from the recording. So I guess next podcast we'll talk about it. I'm not too familiar with I could never get into the Life is Strange series. I know you're a big fan, Ethos. Like, what do you want from a new Life is Strange?
Watch Cammy stream it.
Right,
You're literally freeze from choice paralysis. One of my favorite things. But I mean, I think I saw the teaser. I think it's hinting at Max and from the girl from Life is Strange 1, and then I think I forgot his name from Life is Strange 2 because I think the jacket he's wearing. I think it's the Latino guy from the older brother from Life is Strange 2. So that'll be interesting. I think the latest one, I didn't play the latest one that dropped, I think, last year, but that one's been kind of hit with mixed reviews. People are not happy with some of the writing and decisions that some of the studio made for Max. So there's a lot of infighting right now. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not really into that whole fandom and shipping and stuff like that. That's not really my thing. I just like, a nice little story and time traveling. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Any other Life is Strange fans here?
Yeah, me. I've been a fan of the Life is Strange universe. Yeah, I've been told you. I've played Life is Strange games.
When?
I've been playing Life is Strange game, bro.
This man, like he just discovered fire or something. Like,
what?
Fire?
I did a whole playthrough. I did a whole playthrough of Life is Strange too.
Okay, so that's weird. So Siggy and you both have played this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm the only one that didn't. I couldn't get into it. I think I'm the only one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really.
Life is Strange 2 was so lit, bro. And it's funny because I played that one and then I went back to play the first one. I watched my ex at the time play the first Life is Strange and I didn't get it, but then I played 2 and I was like, yo, this shit is lit.
Okay. So January 20th. There will be an official reveal. We'll talk about it next week because this is a weekly podcast. Massive layoffs at Meta. They released 3.
I know, right? Good news again. Oh man.
Oh shit. So Facebook just laid off 3 major studios that were producing games for the MetaQuest 3. It would seem that that government lizard, Mark Zuckerberg's MetaQuest VR headset is not selling and the games aren't either. Why do you think that is, Watts?
VR just ain't what it needs to be, man. It was a great hope, people were excited. Cool, but there's so many people that get so nauseous playing any VR stuff, or people just don't want to have a headset on their head, or people just want to come home and relax and sit on the couch with a controller and lean back and not have to have this thing on their head or acting out the entire game. So it's not where it needs to be. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but it's a completely different beast developing a game for VR than not a VR game. Like how you have to deal with the movement, the way that the camera works, it's completely different. So I'm not surprised that there's any layoffs happening. I think it's unfortunate the studio it happened to because it was the Deadpool one, right?
Yeah.
And that was like one of the better VR games. So yeah, I don't know. It's really sad. I hate to see it, but I think it's just not being adopted.
I think there's 3 key reasons why VR is not taking off. A is still just too expensive. Even with Meta being on the low end, that's still $300. Then you got to get some games. You're easily spending $400 to $500, and then you want like the controllers and stuff. And then you have the higher end ones, which are like in the thousands. So A, it's still too expensive. B, I think that VR as a whole stifles creativity when it comes to game development, because for those unaware, in order to get that immersive experience within VR, at bare minimum, the game has to run at 90 frames per second. But ideally, from my understanding, you want it to run it at least 120, but the bare minimum is 90 frames. So you take that in consideration. Look at all these games that can barely run at 60 FPS. That's why, if you're wondering why a lot of VR games look ashy as hell, is because they have to scale back the visuals so much to make sure that that thing can run at 120 frames. So I think it stifles creativity from an optimization standpoint, because they're constantly basically developing with one arm behind their back. And then C, I think that the experiences just aren't that unique. For every Batman Arkham VR and for every Half-Life VR, there's a million bow and arrow games, first person. Like, we get it, bro. I can play that shit at Dave & Buster's. I'm not paying $300 to put that shit on my headset and get a fucking headache. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. We've had the conversation multiple times. So you were actually one of the only ones that actually got a VR headset. And I remember that was years ago, over 10 years ago. And yeah, we're still not ready for VR. That's crazy. It's been a very long time, and we're still not there yet. People still want the traditional experience, and that's going to be, I don't know, for the foreseeable future. That's just going to be what it is. I think that a lot of VR developers need to rethink the way that the VR headset is. I get that the technology is in there, but I think the true future is going to be going more of like the meta, like the glasses route, like Ray-Bans. I think that's truly going to be it. And we can find a way to get like similar tech in just glasses. I think that'll be an easier barrier of entry to get people into it. But I think as far as just games, just playing games, I think we're going to be there for a very long time. I think there has to be other aspects, which I mean, Meta tried to do Apple Vision Pro. Like I remember I was texting my chat the other day. I'm like, y'all remember Apple Vision Pro? So everybody was on that $3,000 headset, and I remember Cammy got one, and I was like, who's still using that anymore? They were in their cyber trucks with it, very dangerous, by the way. Like they were just flexing it on some stupid stuff, and you don't hear anybody talking about that Apple Vision Pro anymore. So they suffered this exact same fate that Meta is and any other VR headset developer is. So yeah, we're just not ready, especially in the video game realm. We're not there yet.
Any thoughts, Ethos?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not really into VR because I have vertigo, so I don't think I'll ever be able to enjoy it as much as everyone else can.
Okay. What's the name? Deadpool got announced for Marvel Rivals. You're still playing it, Ethos, JG. Any takes? Is he cool? What?
Yeah, he's busted.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't he all 3 classes, Duelist, Vanguard, and Healer?
Yeah. And when you ban him, you have to ban each version of him.
Oh shit! Really?
Really?
He shows up.
You just sold me on never coming back to this game.
I was in ranked, and the worst part is,
crazy.
like, he's actually busted as a healer. He's actually really good at healing, which is really fucking annoying.
To be fair, it is lore accurate. He's a busted character. It is lore accurate.
He's funny. I'm not gonna lie. Him in the game, he is hilarious. Like he makes so many like funny jokes. Like he made a 6-7 joke, and then he cursed himself out. Incidentally, he makes the whole CJ joke, like, oh shit, here we go again. Like he makes that meme when you.
Yeah, I saw some lines on TikTok. I thought it was cool because he references the comic books that came out last year with Batman and Deadpool. So I thought that was pretty cool that they're up to date on that stuff.
He has an ability where if you try to shoot him, if you miss, it's like, where are you aiming? Where are you aiming? Like it's literally like rage baiting you, and you hurt yourself every time you shoot.
You miss an ability, you get hurt. That's it. Yeah, he has a very unique moveset, and I was actually surprised at the way that they made him. Yeah, because I wasn't expecting when they first said that he's going to be all 3. I thought it was going to be one character, like you can switch. Like there was a button to switch between the 3. No, they put him in all 3 categories. I'm like, oh shit. So when I started playing him, I'm like, wow, like this is very interesting. Like I said, I like him as the Vanguard the most from my small time time playing it. I need to play some competitive games to see like where people are going the most. But it's so funny. Like I've seen in a media meme, there was like, oh man, yo, get off the duelist, bro. Get off the duelist. Like, all right, I'll just pick Deadpool as a healer. Like you can't even say this anymore because like, all right, I'm still gonna pick the same character, but I'm just gonna be a healer now. So I think it's very unique. I do like the way that they finally switched things up and like gave something truly unique. But yeah, he busted as fuck, bro. I saw that. I was like, nah, bro, he is super busty.
I appreciate you guys keeping me off the game. You can have that shit.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm suffering trying to get the diamond. Yeah, you're welcome.
Palworld announced they are launching their own TCG card game to compete directly with Pokemon. Does anybody want to play the Palworld official card game?
I'm not gonna, but I respect that they've done that. They're still like, hey, Nintendo, screw you, buddy.
I feel like they baiting them even more now. They're
They
like, all
might
right, you trying to take the game out? All right, we should go make a card game.
I'm curious to see if like people will actually flock to this. Like, will it have value? Because like, is Palworld still like, does it still have a strong community? I don't know.
I still don't know, man. Ethos, you got the insight? Like, when the last time you played Palworld?
I haven't played Palworld in years, so I have no idea. Watts?
I played like one time, not my thing.
All
I'll
right.
be paying attention to see if the scalpers are going after these cards. It'll be interesting. And then last but not least, the last story I have for you is people hate Expedition 33 winning so much that there has been a movement online to dethrone it as one of the top reviewed games on Metacritic. And the game they're pushing to the top is 2008 Nintendo DS game Cory in the House. Already, bro. Oh shit! What you got to say on this, Jay? The internet is so unserious, bro.
That's really funny.
Cory in the House is still a meme in 2026. That's wild, bro. That's super wild. I cannot believe it.
I just want to say that just shows that Gen Z actually doesn't have good memeing capabilities. They literally just take from us. They all take from
Steal our fashion, our memes. This shit is fucking funny,
and they just
dude.
recur it. Yeah,
And you're not wrong.
Yeah.
At least they're being funny about it.
Yeah, this is hilarious. It's not gonna work, but it's funny. It's a funny attempt.
If it does work, I will say it doesn't upset me because if somebody deserves to be at the top, it's a black man. All right, now.
Absolutely.
all right.
The joke's on you. Your joke doesn't work. It works either way. That's all I got on my show notes. Does anybody want to add anything to the show before we wrap it up?
Before we wrap it up, I'll say that I did play Quarantine Zone, which launched this week. It launched on January 12th. This is a game that's published by Devolver Digital, so you know it might be a pretty solid game. But it's a game where there's some kind of outbreak happening. You're at a checkpoint and you're having to see a bunch of different symptoms on people and see if they are infected, not infected, put them in quarantine, put them in the safe place, whatever. It's very, very Papers, Please inspired, and it's as someone who loves Papers, Please, that game is so good. It's probably the best one that I've played in terms of slowly unlocking the different progression, more things you have to look at, more things you have to be cognizant of, more stuff you have to manage. And yeah, it's really solid. It's currently $17.99 on Steam.
I played the demo of it, so like this is like the full release.
It's
of it?
officially out. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's really fun. It's really, really fun. It's good. It's currently sitting at mostly positive, so 75%.
And if you've never seen the game before, I have the gameplay on the screen at the video version at youtube.com/GI updates. Now, since you're already talking, what's your closing statement for episode 173? Go, Watts.
Play Nioh 3 demo. It's free. You should. It's great. I can't believe they made a third one. I'm about to be having the best time of my life.
100 hours for Watts.
Oh, at least. I'm scared I'm not going to be done with it by Resident Evil 9. And it's like 20 days.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be done.
Ethos, what's your closing statement for episode 173? Go.
From Software, if anyone's watching this, can I please have some Armor Core DLC? Thank you.
Facts.
I'm starving.
No, they said you will buy a Switch and you will enjoy the Dust Bloods.
I want to play Armor Core.
You will enjoy this game at 40 frames. JG, what's your closing statement for episode 173? Go.
All right. One, I have started playing Silent Hill F with
Let's
the recommendation
go.
of Watts. I already got stuck with some puzzles. I was like, what the hell?
I told you them bitches is brain busters, bro.
Yeah, I figured them out though. Literally the first puzzle. I said, what? I said, what are these decapitated things here? And where am I supposed to put them? So the chat was helping me out, but no, it's been a great experience so far. I got about a couple hours in there, so I will continue playing. So thank you, Watts. Number two, like I said, the interruption is funny because people were tweeting. They were like, "Yo, I'm glad that that the Rams won." so JG can actually be
The Rams are no longer on fraud alert.
Yeah.
It was looking spooky. It was looking
I
spooky.
know, but oh shit, here we go again because next week we got another one. So we're gonna be right back on the cycle, baby. Right back on the cycle. We got a 6 o'clock game, 6 o'clock my time. So we'll see.
Who you, do you know who your team's fighting yet? Or
Yeah, we wait the Seahawks.
They won.
Yeah, Seahawks won yesterday.
Oh yeah. They blew up the.
Belt to ass, bro. Belt to ass.
Wait.
That's why I was saying Watts. I said I got my eye.
Yeah, you like football, Watts? Because you see how okay.
I know.
I'm rooting for the Seahawks.
Okay, we got some beef then. All right.
Let's go.
My team are idiots, so I'm not going to see them.
And my closing statement for episode 173 is if you made it this far into the show, go to youtube.com/GI updates and leave a comment saying, JG, please stop arguing with Russian bots and watching AI videos. Thank you for watching Gaming Illuminati episode 173. If you're watching on or listening on Apple and Spotify, be sure to rate the show 5 stars. And if you're watching the video version at youtube.com/GI updates, hit the like button, leave a comment, engage. We have been consistent as promised. So I would hope that you guys do your part and share the content. Hit the hype button. It's not available for everybody. I don't got it. But if you do got it, hit the hype button so we can move up them YouTube charts. We need that. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for checking out Game Illuminati episode 173, and we'll see you next week on the world's best gaming weekly podcast. Peace.
Weekly.